Alrighty then. Hello everyone, my name is Caden, and welcome back to more Steins Gate 0. Last time we got the bad ending. At least according to... Oh yeah, no, it just was according to the guide I have. And this time, we are currently in the middle of doing if what I'm reading in my guide is right, it should be the Mayuri ending. I say should be, because the title of this ending is kind of different from that of the the title of the ending in the guide is different from what the chapter name is. And I mean, oh well. But anyways, how about we just go ahead and continue? We were just finished talking to Maho on the computer, and we're currently playing as Suzuha at the moment, so yeah. They relaxed for a moment after turning off the video chat. Suzuha thought back to the time before she became a time traveler. She did this every time she got off the video chat with Maho.
Maho Hyajo. Someone to help build the time machine, huh?
Do you have any memory of that, Suzuha? It was after Maho had gone back to America that she volunteered to help Suzuha and Itaru with the time machine. That meant that when Itaru Hishida completed the time machine 25 years from now, Maho Hyajo must have contributed in some way. But does Suzuha have no memories of this?
I know I shouldn't say too much about the future, but there was nobody by that name helping you, you know?
Really? Oh, does this mean something bad's gonna happen to Maho?
Which means she probably left the team at some point. I don't know whether it was of her own free will or due to some external factor. But if nothing else, I don't think she was part of the core team.
I see. She's pretty handy to have around, though.
I don't really want to say this, but there's a possibility she might be a spy.
What? No way! Not Maho talking about people.
Sorry. I just want you to remember that's a possibility. I told you, the war of information that comes before the Third World War has already started. Either way, we can't just let anybody find out about the machine's secrets. Just make sure you're very careful about that.
Yeah.
So, how are you going to work on the time machine going forward?
We really need Ocarina's help.
That's the thing. I don't know if we can persuade Uncle Ocarine. I might have to do it by force.
Who was it that tried that before and then it failed? That ain't gonna work. Suzuha pursed her lips. Even with a gun in his face, Rintaro Okabe still wouldn't get in the time machine. To be honest, Suzuha was out of options. She stifled a sigh. It didn't do any good to let herself get down.
Come to think of it, how are things with Mom?
Huh?
I'm more worried about that. Is everything okay? I'm still gonna be born, right?
Well, is that more important than the time machine?
Hey!
Suzuha stormed over to Itaru.
You can't screw this up, Dad.
Yeah. Daddy's gonna do his best, okay?
All you'd ever do is talk. You even wasted those movie tickets we gave you, didn't you?
She meant the pair of movie tickets that Mayuri and Ferris had conspired to give them at the Christmas party. Sorry, I was looking at something. Here we go. That was because Miss Ocarina and Miss Fubuki collapsed, you know? We were so busy with hospital visits and stuff like that, with them that were the movie left the theater. It's not like it's my fault.
But I heard that when they try to give you new tickets, you turn them down.
Pretty sure this is the same as before as well. You know what? No, you know what this is? I think this is in the bad ending. This scene did play out, but it happened after the whole curry incident, I think. Go-Go curry incident. Who told you that?
Big sis Mayu and big sis Rumi, obviously.
That's because, you know, it's not very manly to make those two do all the work, is it?
So, did you go and do something yourself? This isn't gonna work.
Maybe this was a more important problem than the time machine. Zua brought her hands up to her head.
Listen, Dad, I'm not gonna be around to lecture you like this forever, okay? I'm leaving soon.
Oh! Suddenly, there was a sad look in Itaru's eyes.
Don't make that face. I promised I'd stop worrying about it.
For the past 6 months, Zua had been thinking about whether it was really right to erase this world. In the end, it was none other than Itaru who pushed her to go ahead. I'm sorry. She couldn't bear to see her father so depressed, so she patted his broad back.
Don't just sit there and be glum. Send Mom a message and see if she's free sometime. And if she is, invite her to a movie.
That's way too sudden.
I don't care if it's son or not. Do it anyway, okay? This is an order.
An order?
What's your answer?
Sir, yes, sir! Satisfied, she headed off to take a shower. Oh, but before that, I'm gonna hit the convenience store. Oh gosh, wait. Wait, this is not after the go. Wait, are we still gonna see her fight with Kagari? I actually haven't eaten yet. I'm probably gonna be up all night again, so I want to get there before it gets late. Still hunched over, he pointed towards the development room. He was pointing at the phone wave named subject change Unit 02 that was put together, but still undergoing testing. Don't glare at me like that! I'll be as healthy as I can, so please forgive me!
Vanilla.
Oh god. No. No. Huh?
I want ice cream when I'm done with my shower. Vanilla ice cream.
Okay, I'll go buy you a lot of really top shelf stuff.
Doesn't have to be a lot, just one thing is fine.
Sir, yes sir! Oh god. That was enough to cheer Dar up. He took his wallet and ran out of the lab. Is he gonna come back in with the Upa?
He's such a handful.
She had just about taken off her jacket so she could take the shower, but... Suzuha! Yep, here we go. It's alright, come back to the lab. If this is the same, I'm just gonna go ahead and skim through it. Yep, it's the same. Okay. Again, this all happened in the bad ending from the last stream, I think? Or it was either last stream or the stream before last stream. But the fact of the matter is, I've definitely seen this dialogue. Ugh. Blessed Edge come off, is old degraded. Seen this before, did Mayoshi show it? Nope. Young girl scream, there's Kagari. Again, I can't skip it, strangely though. But I know for a fact this is the same dialogue, or at the very least, if it isn't the same dialogue, it's nearly the same. Maybe like slight differences here and there, but nothing like new information-wise, is what it seems like. So... this means that right after this, we're gonna have our huge fight with Kagari, right? Trying to stop us from reaching Steins Gate. If this is, and again, if it's just the same fight as before, then of course I'm just gonna skip through it, because, I mean, there's no need to waste the time. We already know what the fight scenes will look like. It's just, if it's new dialogue, then I'll go back to that, just be careful. I'll go and just skim through the dialogue, just like rapid readings. To keep it Krinu chain, fingers of she ran over her fingertips. Not related to money, she was still her daughter. That's right. Raised somebody, grew up the kind of person who's salt. Can't imagine it. Wish it was what happened. Yeah, thought she'd turn out, but now she's probably... The question about Kagari is the voice that she hears. The voice that she calls God. What is the voice that Kagari keeps hearing? There's a part of me that wonders, could it be could it be like a time leap in a way? Or something similar? Or, I don't know. Yeah, we're about to have the Kagari fight, definitely. I don't remember turning him off, still completely naked, curtain. Ready to move. Dad didn't come back. It's all the same. Oopa pillow. .32 caliber. Smoke sound from the development room. And then... Kagari! Howdy, Kagari. So Kagari does seem to be part of the Rounders, because again, she's wearing the same outfit as Moeka. Hi, Kagari. I still wonder what's gonna happen when you take off your helmet. I wonder what Kagari actually looks like. She's gonna... I have a feeling she's gonna end up looking like a character we know somehow. And I mean, and I don't mean as in like an older version of the Kagari, but I mean as in somebody else entirely. She's gonna end up looking like, is what I think. At the very least, I wouldn't be too surprised somehow. Anyways, have your fight scene going on. You've already thrown the gun at her in the previous time. Or ending. Fight, fight, fight! Crash, crash, crash. Few broken ribs. Jump to continue her attack. Charge. Swing. Cut. Exposed abdomen. Bitch. Our guns are no different. What's left? Knives. We need knives. We need more knives. An endless supply of cutlery. I can't say words. Have the demon of destruction. The Oopa of calamity. Whee! Ow. And then suddenly we have, yep. Naked Suzuha trying to choke out Kagari. Get away! Then she's gonna say Kagari, and then Kagari's gonna abuse feelings to get the jump on Suzuha. And then Dara's gonna walk in and... make things annoying. Daru! Hi, Zaru! Scared. Here we go. Whee! Tumble. I can't skip this, right? No, I can't. Oh, I just noticed something interesting with this. In this game, there's a in the first Steins Gate, whenever you had skip activated, if you tried clicking anything, it would automatically turn skip off. But it doesn't seem like that's the case here. Almost certain. I see. This is how it's gonna be. Bruises and aches. You know, and then Daru says something very unfitting of the situation. Right? It's like, you look like a... What do you say again? Yeah, that. You look like that. Thanks, Dario. Dario, I'm gonna throw you out the window. Unless I'm mistaken. She was crying. Again, there's no reason to reread everything here if it's the exact same. Though I don't understand why the game doesn't consider it the same. little tired.
私
So does this mean... One thing I'm confused on is... I wonder if we're still gonna get kidnapped by freaking,
でも
whatchamacallit, Leskinen and his men. Because the person who kidnapped us was technically Leskinen, but he used Maho to kidnap us. So, but Maho's not here this time, so is Leskinen gonna even be able to kidnap? Or are we free? Anyways, back to Okabe. When July came, the sun shone down even harder on eastern Japan. Summer was truly here. And of course, to say nothing about the fact that we don't even have Amadeus anymore. The news have been saying for days that the heat island effect might make this the hottest summer in years. And then, on the first Sunday in July... The arrivals lobby at the international terminal of Narita Airport was filled with foreigners and Japanese passengers returning home. This seems different. This is definitely different.
Look at all these people. I think there's more of them than there were a minute ago. I didn't expect the airport to be this busy on a Sunday yet.
Don't miss her, don't miss her, or Mayuri, Ferris. You know how tiny she is. Oh, we're waiting for Maho this time. Oh no, wait, actually. So wait, is Maho brainwashed? I don't know. I'm scared. The three of us were waiting for someone here. Sorry I can't go today. No, it's fine, no problem. You had something to do, it's alright. Having a lot of people around would just bother Hyajo. You had something to do, it's alright. I hope I can see Maho before she leaves. I'll ask her how long she's staying and contact you later. Thank you. Okay. We've been there for almost an hour.
Okay, I'm gonna have to tell her you said that.
Please don't. It was just a joke.
There's no sign of her though. Maybe it was a mistake to try and surprise her by meeting her at the airport, yeah.
We should have at least asked what time she was arriving. We hadn't told her that we were coming to greet her. And so all we knew was that she was arriving at Narita on an afternoon flight. If I'd known we were going to have to wait so long, I would have tried to get the arrival time out of her. There was a stream of passengers flowing by us, but no sign of the person we were waiting for. Just as I was starting to wonder if we'd missed her because if she was so small, she finally appeared. Or more precisely, I saw a giant travel suitcase rolling all by itself away from the gate. And from behind it, I heard a voice I recognized.
I did not fake my fat passport. What's wrong with people? Every single time, no matter what country I go to, they always have to check in. It always takes forever.
Hi, Maho. I walked up to the suitcase and gave it a pat.
Yajo-san.
Yajo.
Huh?
Mao had been leaning forward and pushing the suitcase as hard as she could. Her mouth hung open when she saw me. Hello. It's been a while. Glad you were able to make it past customs.
You!
You look really pale. You okay?
Of course I'm okay. Wait, never mind that. What are you doing here?
You told me you were arriving this afternoon, right? So I decided to come surprise you.
You did? Thanks. Thanks.
For some reason, her voice became really weird the moment she saw me. Was my being here really that much of a surprise? Is she brainwashed? Now I'm scared. Are you just like how you were in the bad ending?
But you know, I told you I can get to Akihabara Station on my own, and to meet me there.
No, come on. You come all this way, so it's the least I can do. Also, I'm not sure you can really get to Akihabara on your own.
Oh, rude. I'm not that helpless.
Mayuri and Ferris came up as well. Hello, Maho.
Maho!
It's her greeting. Yes. Toot-a-roo.
Manyan! I missed you.
As Mayuri grabbed Maho's hand, Ferris walked up and gave her a big hug.
Mayuri, Paris, it's good to see you. You came all this way to welcome me? Thank you. By the way, can you not yell Mahonyan at the top of your lungs in a place like this? Why not? It's cute. Look around. Everybody's laughing, right? It's embarrassing. Meow. Is it meow?
Fierce really sticks out after all. While we've been waiting here, all the foreigners have been pointing at her and yelling cat ears, or some of you had even asked for pictures. Yajo, I'll take your luggage.
Oh, thanks.
Still, this was a really sudden trip, wasn't it? It was only a few days ago that I'd found out she was coming. Are you here to help Dr. Leskinen again?
Oh, well...
Ma was fidgeting and glancing up at me.
Are you still talking to Dr. Leskinen very often?
Yeah, he's still over here doing his research, right? Sometimes he invites me out to dinner. It's a big honor.
I see. That's bad.
Bad? Why?
Oh, nothing. Nothing you have to worry about.
Okay, so I think she does know at this point then. I'm assuming she probably knows about Leskinen's true intentions. Judging by that alone, Shirley was acting weird. She wasn't like this when I saw her last winter. Was she tired from her trip? Or was seeing us here that much of a surprise?
I'm not here to help the professor this time. I'm visiting some relatives in Okinawa. But since I'm here anyway, I decided to drop by Akihabara first.
I see. Okinawa, huh? No, don't like that. For a moment, the name of that place brought back visions of that nightmarish time. After I collapsed on Christmas, I was sent to another world line where I'd spent a month fleeing to Okinawa. Don't like that.
Okinawa? That sounds so nice. I'd love to go there. You didn't go there on your school trip yet? We went to Hokkaido. I went to Hawaii now. A foreign country. Aloha.
Putting aside the girls and their talk of school trips. So, Hyajo, you're not staying in Tokyo that long.
Huh? Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be. You're right. Do you have a hotel in Akihabara now? Yeah? Not yet. I'm going to go look for a cheap business hotel. Then come stay at my place. You can use the same room that you used before, Nyan. What? But I really couldn't. Oh, don't worry about worrying about it. I'm always happy to have you, Nyan. But I really couldn't. Then how about this, Nyan? You can stay for free, but in exchange you have to do just a little bit of work at my cafe, Nyan. Your cafe?
Uh-oh.
Meet Queen Nyan Squared, right? You can't mean the place where they wear the cat ears.
Oh god.
That's right, Nya. All my cat ear maids are busy with Kamima preparations right now, Nya. They come to me crying and asking for time off, Nya. In other words, there's a serious shortage of cat-eared maids, Nya. That's right, Nya. So how about Nya, Mahonyan? How about Nyan?
Oh dear.
I refuse.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Why not? Why? You know why. I would look good in those things. You sure would. Why is she sure you'd look great? No objections, Nya. Oh, Green, you think so too, Nya, right, Nyan?
Oh god, why are you asking me? Yeah, I'm sure she'd get plenty of fans.
Fans? I don't like being flattered.
I'm not flattering you, though.
Then you need to go to an optometrist and get your eyes checked. Nyan, she turned all red. I did not. I think Mahonyan needs to realize how attractive she is, Nyan. Yep, if Mayushi was a boy, she'd be in love. I'm telling you, that's not true.
I think you should probably. I don't know how to say it. Put a little more effort into your appearance, maybe. If you did, I'm sure you'd look more... Uh-oh. I feel like I'm crossing a line that should not be crossed. I was trying my best to sound encouraging, but just ended up sounding like a real jerk. Of course, she was annoyed. Well, let's move away from that.
I'm fine as I am. My job as a scientist is my first priority. But what if you find a guy you like, yeah? You won't be able to show him how you feeling yet. I'm fine. I don't think it'll ever happen, so it doesn't worry me.
She gave a sigh that was a little too deliberate. What the hell?
I'm sorry. That jet lag and the trip got me a little tired.
I'm still not sure if I trust.
You know the feeling, yeah. Jet lag is rough, yeah. I got a limo ready, so you can count up on the way, yeah. A limo?
Pierce had rented a white limo to pick up Maho. Yeesh, he really did go overboard. But thanks to that, Mayuri and I were able to enjoy its big, comfy seats on the way to Narita Airport.
Well, you can rest on my lap if you want, yeah. Or would you rather rest on Mayushi's lap, yeah? Mayushi's okay with that. I'm fine. I'm not a kid. I don't think you realize that this is not, this is not a choice. You have to. There's not enough seats in there.
But I can tell you're really tired, though. Are you that busy with work?
Well, I got 2 projects going on.
2 projects? You working on something besides Amadeus? She quickly put her hand over her mouth. Nice job.
That's, well, it's classified information.
I see. Sorry about that. It was true that American university labs had a lot of stuff like that going on there. I'd heard there were a lot of industrial spies. If she wasn't careful about what she said, she might get fired or worse. It was a mistake on my part to even ask.
Come to think of it, where's Hashida today?
He's doing the most important job of his life right now.
Most important job of his life? Dara's on a date right now.
Bruh. Mao's shock was almost comical.
I must be really tired. I'm hearing things.
No, I can understand why you feel that way, but... poor Maho. Oh, Ma.
He really is on a date. What? I can't believe it. You're kidding me. That pervert.
Even Maho was calling him a pervert. Dara had said he was talking to Maho a lot too, and I could just imagine what their conversations were like. But actually, if Dara didn't do his best today, it would ruin the world's entire chain of causality.
Oh dear.
In that sense, Dara's date today was an event with universe-spanning implications. Daru, don't screw this. Oh wait, are we actually going to the... We are... Okay, I got the order of events wrong then. Here's the Go-Go Curry incident. About half the seats at Go-Go Curry were full. It was Sunday, but it was also after 2 p.m., and so lunchtime rush was over. Zua was sitting at the restaurant's far edge, a baseball cap pulled down over her face. She was hiding her face with the cap, carefully watching a couple sitting nearby. Major Curry. Zua see our customers were looking at them and whispering. Cover really stood out. After all, the man was a giant who looked like he ate Major Curry all the time, but the woman was slim, pretty, and looked very kind. The combination of huge man and slim woman was as unbalanced as the combination of pretty girl and Major Curry. Major Curry was big. It was huge. Zua knew from experience. Massive silver trays were loaded with rice and curry, and top of the 2 fried cutlets, fried shrimp, sausage, a boiled egg, and a mound of cabbage. There's 2 or 3 times as much curry as you'd find in a normal dish, and the toppings were just as big. Even a growing young boy would find it hard to eat them all. And meanwhile, Suzuha was irritated. Yeah, this is the same as well. How are you ordering Major Curry on your first date with her dad? The Beauty and the Beast couple that Suzuha was watching, of course, was Itaru and Yuki. In the morning, they'd gone to see a movie in Yurakucho, and they'd come to Akibara and gone straight to Go-Go Curry. So had followed them the whole time. That's why she couldn't believe that Itaru's choice of date spots. Thanks, Daru. Like Go-Go Curry, this is your first day. You could have gone to 1,000 other places. But it's more amazing the pictures. And then we're about to see Daru's brilliant, like, shocked photo, or expression. If you can't eat it all, I'll finish it for you. Very good at this. I still can't skip this, right? Okay, I can't. Unless skipping's different? I don't know. Glad to hear that. Hi, Suzuha. And the reason he's acting so weird is because of what happened in the movie theater where the seat cracked and then he ended up holding Yuki's hand. Nice job, Daru. Wait. Wait. Oh god. A part of me just wondered, is the reason why... So one thing that ended up happening in the bad ending is that for some reason, Mayuri and Suzuha went missing. Is one of the... I don't know about Mayuri, but what if the reason why Suzuha is missing is because she got deleted from existence? Because of the date failing and now she's no longer born. Ordered Major Curry. Small shop like this was suicide. Look at that! Look at that expression on Daru! Bro is flabbergasted. Hi, Daru. Hi, Yuki. Howdy. Oh, great. Friends sit with us. Eat together. Wait, why? Or Major Curry. But she can be the judge of our race. You're on a date, right? Yeah, I'm on a date. It makes me blush to say out loud. Daru is failing miserably. Is it normal to have a curry speeding contest with another girl in the middle of a date? I don't know. You see it a lot and stuff. The little sister. You just seem incredibly enthused. Is that how it works, brother? Being brought curry like a robro? Did you say something? You're acting weird. I am not acting weird. I am not acting weird at all. It's confusion. Yuki is confused. And then Yuki's gonna say, like, she doesn't know what to do, right? Because Suzuha's gonna stay with Yuki and talk with her, and Yuki's gonna say, like, oh, I don't know what to do. Enjoying being around me. Having fun talking before the movie. I originally thought that the reason why Daru was acting weird is because maybe he was being threatened in between the movie or something, but... What happened inside the theater? Hey, how do you like my brother? He's not exactly a lady killer. What do you think about your brother? Do you like him? Hate him? Do you like him? Sure. Parts of him that she didn't like, but of course she loved her dad. Are you talking about me? So what about you? So I don't know if I like him or not. Fear. The only other told told Yuki he liked her. This was still their first day, and they hadn't spoken much before. She hadn't even reached a point where she saw him as... She hadn't even reached the point where she saw him as a member of the opposite sex. For almost years, Suzuha stayed with him, and she, Mayuri, and Ferris had done everything they could to get them together, but it hadn't been any real progress. Suzuha felt uneasy. Maybe her dad wouldn't be her dad anymore. Maybe her mom wouldn't be her mom anymore. Dad and mom wouldn't be together. She imagined that future. Don't want that. straight into Yuki's eyes.
私さ
Gonna be leaving soon.
ちょっと
Moving someplace far away. Really? Don't think I'll be back.
心配なん
I'm
だ
worried about, my
だから
brother.
さこんなこと
This is a weird thing to ask, but
私が
take care
頼
of
むのも
Daru,
おかしな
please.
話なんだけど橋田至を
And this is where she says, I don't know. Right? There's no answer from Yuki. She's still kind of lonely and kind of sad.
私は
I don't know what I want to do anyway. Yeah, there.
ど
There's
うし
the
た
I
いんで
don't
し
know
ょ
what I
う
want
ね
to do. And then we go back to Daru getting his shit rocked in at this
これ
point.
じゃ破局の危機だよ
Everything's almost finished, even though it never even started. She yelled at your useless father. The Shida family is doomed.
しょぼくれてるんじゃない
Stop sitting there and feeling sorry for
今
yourself.
日
Do
は
your
なんであんな
shit.
態度をと今朝出かけるときはあんなに楽しそう
The seat broke and I held her hand. She probably thinks I'm gross because I sweat. Her seat almost broke. Grab the armrest. It wasn't the armrest.
うん
Yeah.
そんなこと
Mom didn't say anything about that.
嘘じゃないよ
Soft.
そう
ただ僕女
Held a
の
lot of 2D girls' hands. I don't know how you're holding 2D girls' hands considering they're not physical.
僕を傷つけないようにと思った僕ってこの体型じゃなんか
Not a word. Started thinking about it.
な
That's why you're
るほど
acting so
ね
weird.
天主もきっと心の中
Get off me, creepy loser pervert. Mom's not like that.
私は
Don't know what I want to do.
どうしたいんでしょうね
What you mean by that?
母さんが
Don't know what mom's thinking. So let's give up on mom and you can live with me.
言ってることがめ
It
ちゃく
doesn't
ちゃ
make
だ
any
よ
sense. How am I even
そも
supposed to be
そも
born?
私は
But it's impossible.
父さんが頑張ら
Mom,
ない
you're
で
not
ど
even
うするの
trying.
このピンチをチャンスに変えるんだよ
Grabbed her father by the collar and shook him.
出ないと
You don't. I'm not being born. I'm just gonna fade from existence.
出ないと
Something awful will happen.
ですよね。
Yeah. And then she heard a car park in front of the lab. Oh, here's different. This is different.
We're here now.
She recognized the voice from below the open window. Oh, is that Fairstone's voice? Suzuha let go of Itaru's call and moved her over to the window. Moved over to the window. Below, she saw a group of people she knew. Hi. Jesus. Okay, I never realized how tall Kabe is because you never get to see his thing next to other people, but Jesus Christ, he's tall. Rintaro, Kabe, Mayuri, Shina, and Ferris Nyanyan. And Maho Hyajo, too. I was about to say, we're missing somebody.
ヒヤジョウさんもう
Hyajo's
到
here.
着してたの
Here already?
でもなんで
Why is she here with
他の
Uncle
おじさんたちと
Ocarine?
一緒なんだろう
And then she gave a start and turned back towards the room.
Wait, this is bad. We haven't put it away.
それ出しっぱなし
Huh? Suzuha pointed towards the desk in the development room, where the phone wave name subs change unit O2 is sitting. Oh yeah, if Okabe sees that, he's gonna destroy that shit. Oh, crap, hide it!
オキドキ
Yeah, okie dokie. If nothing else, this meant that Maho Hyajo was coming to the future gadget lab. So I hoped that this meant that work on the phone wave would get back on track. Back to Okabe? Okay. Vega and Altair. That's the name of the ending of the... That's the actual name of the Mayuri ending, according to the guide. Why is there an explosion? Why? We literally just started with Maho. We literally just started. What do you mean? There was a small explosion in the room filled with smoke.
The window. Open the window.
Mao crawled out into the living room. Tara rushed to the open window and she heard a man who was probably the building's owner yell up at them. Shit! What was that sound? Are you making bombs up there? I'll call the cops! Sorry! The microwave blew up! Yutaro poked his head out and apologized to the man below. What do you mean the microwave blew up? What the hell? It took a minute, but the owner was finally satisfied and the argument ended. I swear to God, this freaking game. Don't give me a heart attack like that. I thought everyone was about to die again and the chapter just started. Thanks, game. That really scared me. No shit, it scared me too. As Yutaro wiped away the sweat, she saw that his face and clothes were both covered in soot.
It scared you. Shut up.
Ma was no different. Some of her hair had been burnt off, and the white lab coat she'd gone through all that trouble to get had turned pitch black.
Explain what's going on. Where'd that smoke come from?
Probably the microwave. I picked it up from a dumpster, so it probably shorted out somewhere.
You picked it up from where? What is wrong with you? We're working on one of the greatest inventions in human history.
Maho, I would normally agree with you, but this was somehow made from a microwave, so I don't even know if we're in the right place to be talking about this.
And you're using parts from a dumpster. Why?
Commercial microwaves are expensive.
I can't believe you. Do something about this. Use my credit card if you have to.
I didn't have that much money, but this was no time to be cheap.
That's a big help.
Ma wiped her sweaty, soot-covered face with a towel. The white towel turned black immediately.
I can't take this anymore. I'm turning on the air conditioner.
That's not happening. If you use it at the same time as the phone wave, it'll trip the breaker. And I told you, you can't use the air conditioner for more than an hour a day because it's so expensive.
This place sucks. These working conditions were abysmal. This place sucks. Was Karisu really able to create the time leap machine under these circumstances? She somehow did. Just thinking about it gave her even more respect for Karisu.
Fine, but I'd at least like to take a shower and get the soot out of my hair.
Go ahead.
If you even think about peeing, I'll go straight to Suha. Remember that.
I would do that.
For some reason, Yutaro responded to Maru's warning by sighing and slumping his shoulders. Daru, kill you.
And actually, I don't feel like dealing with jokes like that right now.
Mao hadn't meant it as a joke. She was extremely serious.
I'm in such a bad way that I'm not even playing H games.
She heard from Suzuha that the day she'd arrived in Japan, Yutaro had screwed up on a bat on a date. It's true that Yutaro was a lot quieter than his usual self. Mary had even said that Daru not playing H games must have been an omen of some impending natural disaster. Maybe it is. Except, unfortunately, it's not going to be a natural disaster. It's going to be a man-made disaster. But either way, she didn't have time for his negativity, so she mostly ignored him and went to the shower room. Why are we back in the shower? Since Suzuha used to shower regularly, it was relatively clean. There was a good selection of bar soap and shampoo, and Suzuha had told her she could use it as she liked.
Jeez, I'm spending Tanabata covered in soot.
That day was indeed Tanabata. Actually, Mao had been secretly looking forward to this day. Since she lived in America for so long, she was interested in Japan's traditional summer holiday. She was especially interested in the famous story of Orihime and Hikoboshi, in the custom of writing down wishes and hanging them from bamboo. Hikoboshi, a man who appears in the legend of Tanabata. In Japan, Altair, the brightest star of the constellation Aquila, is known as the summer Hikoboshi star. The star Vega, or Hime, is separated from Altair by the Milky Way. and the legend says that only on Tanabata can they cross it and come together. This was originally a Chinese legend. A girl who appears in the legend of Tanabata, the star Vega in the constellation in Lyra, is known as Orihime Star. She was the daughter of the Emperor of Heaven and was given the name Orihime, or Weaving Princess, because of her mastery of the loom. She's married to Hikoboshi, Nasuhiko, but the Emperor of Heaven decreed that they would only be allowed to meet once a year, on July 7th in the old Japanese calendar. I see now why this chapter is now called Vega and Altair. I now understand. Since she was here, she sort of wanted to try writing down a wish too. She didn't want to bring it up herself because she didn't want anyone thinking of her as childish, but Mayuri Ferris and all the other girls seemed like they wanted to do something like that. However, I'd hoped they'd invite her too. That's why it hurt so much to be spending the hot summer afternoon in the lab with Hitaru covered in soot. She was thinking about that as she washed herself off when... oh dear. She could hear Hitaru calling for her from outside.
What? Don't tell me you're really going to pee. I dare you to open that door even an inch. I'll cry.
Now's no time for being cute. I just got word from Mayushi. Okari might be coming here.
What? Okabe?
Mao's mind started to race. She'd been told that Okabe rarely came to the lab anymore. In fact, after he dropped her off here on the first day, he hadn't come by even once. That's why she felt safe going in and out of the lab, but...
I had the phone with, but make sure he doesn't find out what we're doing.
Right, I know. Wait, I shouldn't even be here. I need to get back to Ferris's place and hide.
Why?
Because I'm supposed to be in Okinawa.
That's how she'd explain her visit to Okabe. If he found out that she was working on the phone wave with Hitaru, there would be trouble.
That's right! Okay, hurry up and come out!
I can't, not with you standing there.
Oh, that's right.
After she was sure Hitaru was gone, she quickly washed the bubbles from the body ice soap off her body. Her long hair still wasn't dry, but there wasn't time for that. She wiped herself off with the towel and was about to leave the shower room when she heard the door open. Hey, Daru. He was here already. She quickly shut the door to the shower room again. Then she looked down and saw that she was naked. Her clothes were lying on the floor past the door. There was no way she could get them without Okabe seeing her. Her only choice was to stay hidden, completely undressed, and wait for him to leave.
This is really kind of nerve-wracking.
Back to Okabe! Hey, Daru! Hey, Daru. Daru greeted me as I came inside the lab. He seemed to be in kind of a hurry.
Oh, Okarin! I don't see you coming by yourself very often anymore.
The room smelled kind of like smoke. Daru, what do you do? And someone must have been using the shower room because the smoky smell was mixed with the scent of soap. But whoever it definitely wasn't Daru. His face and clothes were blackened with soot. I thought it might be Suzuha, but the lights in the shower room were turned off. What were you doing? Dude, you're black with soot.
Well... I got this microwave from the garbage dump, and, you know... And I was warming up a lunch I got from the convenience store, and it blew up.
It blew up. Are you okay?
Mr. Brown got mad at me.
Don't get him too riled up. You don't know when he'll kick you out. If he does that, you might be okay, but Suzuha will have nowhere to go.
That's right. So, what are you doing here? Mayushi isn't here.
I need to talk to you. Good news.
But I refuse.
I haven't said anything yet.
Nothing you've ever come up to talk to me about has ever ended up being good news.
Come on, just hear me out. Last night I went to dinner with Dr. Leston and we were talking about the exchange program.
Oh, that again?
Gentalo! I was keeping in touch with Dr. Leskinen. Of course, the professor knew that Maho was here in Japan. Yesterday, he'd shown me a picture of her taken in Okinawa. I could see her standing in the surf with a blank expression on her face. A friend or a family member must have taken it. Dr. Leskinen had been really nice to me, and I talked to him a lot about going to Victor Condria. Of course, at a minimum, I needed to graduate my current school and pass the exchange exam for Victor Condria. I actually was telling him about you, and he was interested.
Me?
Victor Condria's got something called an information science lab. It brings together hackers from around the world, supposedly. With your talents, don't you think you'd fit in fine there? I've been inviting Daro to come to America with me, but he didn't seem that interested. He'd said things like, I can't imagine living away from the otaku mecca, and no way am I living anywhere where you can't get H games and anime figures. He'd done nothing but give excuses like that.
Well, I am a super hacker, but I'm sure I'd be fine, but...
Why not meet him at least? You've met him before.
I'm busy now.
You can make time for one day.
Not until Kamima's over, probably.
That's over a month away.
It's not happening for a while, okay?
Give me a break, man. You're full of excuses. Do you really not want to go that badly? I sighed and sat down on the sofa. This room really was hot as hell during the summer. The windows were open and the fans were running at full speed, but I was still sweating. There was an air conditioner, but evidently he wasn't using it. Daru, got any Dr. P?
I don't know, maybe Maishi put some in the fridge.
I got up and took a look in the fridge in the corner of the room. There was a regular soda, mineral water, and some sports drinks. But not a single Dr. P. As usual, the freezer was stuffed with juicy fried chicken #1. Mary really did buy a ton of this stuff. Wait, was there even more than usual? Maybe she bought some for Suzuha too. Well, I'm gonna grab a sports drink.
Take any except the one that Suzuha already drank out of.
I grabbed an unopened bottle and took a big gulp. I happened to take a look at the snack shelf next to the fridge. Mixed in with the instant noodles and snacks were 5 bunches of bananas. I do not want any more gel bananas, please. Myri must have bought those too. But still, all that fried chicken and now these bananas. Was she eating more than she had before? Oh no. You know why they probably have extra? You wanna know why? Because they're testing! What was the first items that the foam wave was tested on? Juicy chicken #1 and bananas. Those were the first things that the foam wave was testing on. She always said that no matter how much she ate, she never got fat, but... if she bought this many bananas at once, they were all going to turn brown and squishy before she could eat them all. Does Mayuri really need all these bananas?
It wasn't Maishi who bought these, it was me.
Oh. Dar, you're an idiot. Dar quickly cut himself off. I turned toward him and he averted his gaze. He'd been acting really weird this whole time. Was he hiding something? You bought all these. When did you start liking bananas?
Well, you know, it was Suzuha's idea. She told me to eat some every day because it's good for my diet.
There was a diet like that before, come to think of it. Some celebrity had gone on TV and said she lost a bunch of weight on a banana diet, and then the next day, all the bananas in Japan disappeared from the stores. My dad had tried to get in on that boom a little too late and bought a huge supply of bananas, only to see it flare out and most of them were on the shelves. I remembered that. So don't buy so many at once. They've already changed color. Well, whatever. I was hungry, so I decided to take one. I took a banana and peeled the skin. Just don't go overboard with everything, okay?
You're right, yeah.
I finished the banana in 3 bites and went to toss the peel in the burnable trash can. And then I noticed something strange. The can was filled with bananas. More than anybody could possibly eat. Over half the can was filled up with bananas. And it wasn't just the skins. Some of them were unpeeled, but half rotten. And the summer heat made them give off a nasty stench. I remembered seeing something like this once before. No.
We're making Jalnanas again?
Daru. That's right. It was when I was living here a year ago, doing experiments every day. And then my mind flashed back to the contents of the fridge. And that bizarre stockpile of juicy fried chicken. Daru! It couldn't be. I plunged my hand into the garbage can, not caring about the filth.
Wait, Ocarine!
Daru was clearly uneasy, but I ignored him. I was right. Under the remains of the bananas, I saw tons of boxes of empty fried chicken. No matter how much Mayuri liked them or how much of a glutton Daru was, no one would voluntarily eat this much frozen fried chicken every day. I went deeper into the garbage can. And then I found something I didn't want to see.
No.
Hey,
Daru.
Daru?
What?
Bananas and frozen fried chicken. This brings back a lot of memories, doesn't it?
Yeah?
Must have been about a year ago. We used to do all kinds of experiments like this. You'd waste a lot, so Mayuri would get mad at us. She'd tell us not to waste food.
That's right.
But we ended up having to eat the bananas that we warmed in the microwave to get rid of them. They tasted terrible. But we never were able to eat these. What I pulled out of the garbage can was a green, gooey mass. It was a thick, disgusting liquid like you'd expect to see if you crushed a giant bug. The goo dripped out of my fingers and splattered onto the floor. It was what used to be a banana. What we once called a Jalnana. Oops. Daru put his hands to his head. Then he evidently gave up on hiding it.
Oops, I didn't expect you to find out this easily. I thought I could hide it a little more. I was actually going to tell you soon because I needed your help.
Daru tossed me the towel. Evidently he'd already used it because it was covered in black soot, but I decided to wipe the Jalnana off my hands with it anyway. Daru went into the development room and started moving boxes and dust covers.
Here, this is Uno 2.
And on the table appeared the horrible future gadget number 8, which I had built, improved, and finally dismantled a year ago. You put it together again.
I wasn't sure if I could call it Uno 2 or version 2.
I don't care about the name.
Are you serious? I can't believe you're saying that. We used to have a roundtable meeting and have a lot of fun unpicking names for the future gadgets.
It's all dark history.
Really?
Daru was looking at the dust-covered future gadgets that were sitting on the shelf of the development room. There was something like fondness in his gaze. Why the hell was he acting like this? Did he think of that nightmare as some kind of happy, youthful memory? I was about to tell him to go screw himself, but he held it in. Did you forget what I told you? This thing is dangerous. It's not something we should have.
But I need to make a time machine in the future, you know? Which means I need to research this as a first step, I think.
Daru! I gave up on trying to hold it back. I got up in his face and yelled at him. I told you again and again and again and again! Right! I told you what happened because of this thing. I told you what I went through. Mayuri was killed because we made this thing. Kurisu was sacrificed because we made this thing. Your daughter went back into the past and committed suicide because we made this thing. If you've forgotten, do you want me to go over it again? Are you that stupid? Are you so dumb that you won't understand unless you experience it for yourself? You're the one who's being stupid, Rintaro Kabe. I suddenly heard an angry female voice behind me. I looked back and saw Mao Hyojo glaring at me. What? Hyojo! Oh, illegal Ellie for a win. Not now! What happened to you? It's your clothes. And wait, what are you doing here?
Oh, this is... I couldn't sit there and listen. Don't stare at me, I'll sue! It's your fault for coming out like that! Hold on, I'll go get dressed.
Mao quickly went back into the shower room and came out dressed a moment later. Hi, Maho.
Excuse me, sorry about that.
Have you been hiding here ever since I first arrived?
Who cares about me?
Did you fake that picture of you in Okinawa that you sent to Dr. Leskinen? But the professor and I were completely taken in by that picture of her standing in that Okinawa beach. But it seemed that we'd both been tricked. It was well made enough that Daru must have been involved. So you didn't come to Japan to visit Okinawa?
Yes, that's right. I came for that machine with that stupid name. What was it again? Phone wave name subject change?
I told you what happened because of the D-mails too. Short for DeLorean mail, a text message that is capable of traveling to the past. D-mails are sent from a cellular phone to the phone wave name subject change. However, they can't be sent too close to the present. Also, they may only contain a little over 36 bytes of data. Are you going to repeat that?
No.
How? If you send a D-mail, Echelon will pick it up, and the world line will go back to from beta to alpha. And then Mayuri will die again. I won't be able to save her, no matter what I do. She'll keep dying for all eternity. And then I had a terrifying thought. I stared directly into Maho's eyes. No way. She of all people couldn't possibly. I trusted Maho completely, and I didn't want to believe she was capable of it. The terrible machine that I just confronted had drained me of any kind of rationality. A flashback felt like it was going to hit me any second. Images of Karisu and Mayuri's death were flashing through my mind. So I said something I never should have said. You aren't trying to bring back the Alpha World line, are you?
What?
Are you trying to create a world where Karisu lives and Mayuri dies?
What?
You asshole! Ow! Shit! There was an impact on my cheek. A loud sound in my ears. Ow. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the ground face up. It was a while before I understood what had happened. The left half of my face felt like it was on fire. I was punched? By Daru? I'd known him for 5 years, and this was the first time anything like that happened. Apologize! Apologize to Maotan right now!
Wait, stop it, Ashida!
I can only imagine how much you're suffering, Ocarine. So I'm not giving you any cheap sympathy. But in the end, we're just using that as an excuse. Maotan, Zua, even Mayushi. Do you know how much they've done for you?
That's enough, stop it!
Mao grabbed Dart's body and tried to hold him back. Let me go! He's not gonna understand as long as I hit him again!
That's enough! What you just did was enough, so calm down!
And this time, Mao put her hand on Dar's shoulder.
I'll explain the rest. Go wash your face or something. Go!
She pointed towards the shower room, and Dar finally seemed to get control of himself again. Fine. He looked a little awkward as he lowered his fist. Normally, he hated any kind of seriousness, so in a situation like this, he'd always tell one of his preferred gentleman jokes. There were no jokes as he vanished beyond the curtain into the shower room. A moment later, I could hear the sound of the water.
Christ.
Ma was looking down at me.
This is your fault for being weird.
You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
すまなかった。
分かってるわ
I know that. You're not like
あな
that.
たほら
Come on,
立てる
can you stand up?
I grabbed her hand and slowly got up. I'd taken a solid hit when I wasn't expecting it, and so my head was still a little dizzy.
今のは
That
聞いた。
hurt. When somebody who's normally gentle finally gets mad, he's really strong.
聞くな。
そうね
That's right. When someone gets mad for someone else's sake, not their own.
他の
I think
誰
that's
かのためにも
wonderful.
取れる人は
This has changed my opinion of him a little bit.
素敵だと思う
Ma seemed a bit happy as she looked toward the shower room.
見直したのは
Only a little bit.
少しだけなのか。
だって
Because he's always
私へ
sexually
の言動
harassing
がいつ
me.
もセクハラ
もしかしたら
Maybe he's fallen in love with you.
君のことが子供がよくやるだろ
Kids do that all the time, you know. Tease the girls they like.
意地悪す
He's
る
a kid
と
at art after all.
あれと同じだ。
冗談じゃないわ
You gotta be kidding me. Do you want Sua to be my
鈴葉さん
daughter?
を私の娘にしたいわけ
I don't know.
それはまずい
That would be
な。
bad, yeah. I chuckled a bit, but quickly stopped and turned to face Maho. The difference between our heights was so great that I was looking down on her.
俺の主観で言えば
If you want my subjective opinion, this world line exists because of Karisu's choice.
クリスがいたから
My area is safe because of Karisu.
マイリは無
She
事で
can
いられ
live and
る
be happy.
それを
I have to protect
俺も
that.
守らなくちゃいけない。君は科学者だ。
You're a scientist. You're a lot smarter
俺
than
なん
I
かにず
am.
っとすだから
So you can understand,
理
right?
解できるだろう。
You can understand the
こ
laws
の
of the
世界の
universe.
摂理を。
ええ
Yeah.
Ma quietly nodded.
それは言ってみれば
You could call it God if you wanted
神み
to.
たいなもの。神に人間が挑むなん
It's
て
stupid for humans to challenge
無謀
God,
だったんだ。なのに
but I tried
それ
anyway.
に何回も
And then I tried a dozen times more, and then I tried 100 times more after that. And I failed every single time.
無駄だったんだ
It。was all useless.
人の傲慢を
God's will never forgives
神は
human
決して許
arrogance.
さない。
そうね
You're right.
While I was looking out the window, it was as if she was thinking back to her homeland and ancestors.
神というのは
God is a popular guy back
私の
home
祖国や
and among the people of
あるい
Okinawa.
は沖縄の私も
I learned those wonderful
祖父母
beliefs from my
や
parents and
父母から
grandparents too.
その科学に身を捧げる
I'm
も
a
のではある
scientist,
けれ
but
ど
I would never mess with God.
決して
それなら
But then, Mao shook her head a little and looked up to me with a piercing gaze.
けどね
The God you're talking about.
あなたが盛ん
That's
に口に
completely
する
different.
神は
The
それ
words
と
were
は
sharp,
全
with
く
no
違う
room for disagreement.
世界の摂
The
理
laws of the universe? Those are just the equations that define the world.
ただこの神なんて立派
The
なものは
wonderful being
介
called
在
God
してい
has
ない
nothing
し
to do with them.
私
there's
たち
no
の
reason we
解が
can't
導
solve
けない
them.
道理はないのよ
I was about to respond, but before I could, Maho went inside the development room. I had no choice but to follow her.
D メールとエシロン
I'm
と
well
の
aware
縁
of the
は
relationship between Echelon and D-Mails and how dangerous it is.
十分認識して安心しなさい
Don't worry, we've sealed away the
D-mail.
D-Mail function for now.
今の時点ではあなたの懸念してい
What
るよ
you're
うな事態
concerned
は
about is
起こら
never
ない
going to
し
happen because I won't let it.
私が
I'm
絶
not
対
going
に
to,
起こさせない
I'm not letting us go back to the Alpha World line.
あるもちろん
Of course, Hashida and I are working on a way to avoid the danger of the D-Mail and try to
エシロ
neutralize
ンを無効化
Echelon.
する策もただ
But before we start spending resources on that,
resources
there's something we have to do first.
やら
Something
なくてはな
personal.
らないことがあるの
I'll tap the top of the phone wave unit in O2.
今私たちが研
What we're
究している
researching
の
now
は
is the time leap technology
ク
that
リスが成
that you
し
say
遂げたという
Karisu
タイムリー
developed.
プの方
じゃあ
Then
タ
this
イ
can
ム
only
リープしか
time
で
leap.
きないの
そういうことになる
That's
の
right.
ね
She was right. I was looking at the time leap machine, not the phone wave name subject change. I could tell they'd recreated all the improvements that Karisu had made to the phone wave. Most obvious was the PC and monitor that were connected to the microwave. And connected to the PC was a headset and what looked like a cord covered in electrodes. In this world line, only I knew the details of how the time leap machine was set up, and I hadn't told Daru or Maho about them. In other words, with only some small hints, Maho had managed to create the same thing as Karisu.
正直なところ
To be
は
honest, it's really frustrating.
悔しい
Frustrating.
研究すれ
The
ば
more
するほ
research
ど
I do, the more I realize that I can
や
never
っ
be
ぱり私
Karisu.
は記憶をデータ化して
I can get as far as digitizing the memory data and transferring it to the cell phone along with the top-down search
そこま
signals.
ではできるのただ
But I still can't clear the biggest hurdle,
最
even
大
though
の問
Karisu
題がクリ
could.
アできない
データの圧縮
The data compression, right?
だな
Mao nodded.
I
just can't solve the mystery of how she managed to compress all those terabytes of data.
The reason for it before was because we used CERN stuff, right? We connected it to CERN's, like, bigger, like, Hadron Collider thing or whatever. That was the part that Karisu had struggled with the most, too. In the end, with Dara's help, she'd been able to do it.
Did Karisu tell you anything about it?
She seemed a little unhappy as she asked me that. Asking for the answer meant giving up on finding the solution for herself, and so it meant admitting defeat. Maybe that was really hard for her. But she'd chosen to put completing the machine first. But I had no intention of giving her the answer right away. You made me a promise when we last talked, right? That you wouldn't try to save Karisu Makise using a time machine.
That's right.
Do you still intend to keep it? If you don't, I can't help you. Mao didn't answer for a while. Without even looking at her face, I could tell that she was being torn apart inside.
Of course I do. I promised you after all.
After a long pause, she gave her answer. I couldn't help but laugh. You're a terrible liar. With that look on your face, it's obvious you're not telling the truth. We're done talking. Then I left the development room. I looked toward the shower room, but I could still hear the sound of falling water from within. Daru was showing no signs of being done. Hey, Daru. I was a stupid one. I'm really sorry. I spoke, but there was no answer. Maybe he hadn't heard me. Seemed better for both of us if I apologized tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. That was all I said as I head towards the door.
Okabe!
Mao followed me. She came up to me so fast she almost slammed into me.
Do you think Steins Gate exists? Do you think there's really another world line in the gap between the Alpha and Beta ones? Where Mayuri survives and Karisu doesn't have to die.
If you want to know what happened when I tried to reach it, ask Suzuha. In the end, I couldn't beat fate. Steins Gate is just a stupid delusion.
Are you really sure, though? You haven't proven that it doesn't exist, you know.
That's just the devil's proof, though, right? Nobody can prove a negative. Said to originally be developed by a jurist in medieval Europe during a case over possession rights. It's used as a hypothetical today in other contexts, such as a law or politics, during discussions of rule violations. For example, if someone were to tell you to prove that the devil exists, you could in turn demand proof that the devil does not exist. When they failed to provide that proof, you could say, sure, since that you can't prove the devil doesn't exist, he must exist. This is, of course, simply a sophistry that proves nothing at all, but since it can turn a debate into an endless loop, traditionally the burden of proof is placed on the first person to make a statement. There's also Echelon. Elephant Case.
That's right. You haven't proven whether it exists or not. You've given up after one failure.
Ma was gritting her teeth hard.
I can't believe you.
What? I almost went out of control and grabbed her by the shoulders. But I managed to stop myself at the last second. I told you before, right? I tried dozens, no, hundreds of times before that!
And remember what I said? That's not because of the laws of God, whatever they may be. World lines, the time machine, Steins Gate. They're all just part of the equations that make up the world. You failed dozens of times, or hundreds of times? So what? That happens all the time in science. If you fail that many times, then you try 1,000 times, or 1,000,000 times, or 1,000,000,000 times. And then you're certain to find the answer. You don't know anything! You haven't experienced it! That's the only reason why you can say something so irresponsible! No. I've experienced all of that more times than I can count. Failures, setbacks, regrets, and the pain that comes with them. And all because of a genius named Kurisu Makise. Equations don't have feelings! Yeah, but it's always humans who solve them in the end.
We were glaring at each other. Our faces close enough to kiss. Miles' gaze burned into me. For some reason, I couldn't bear to look at her. So I turned away. I turned around without saying a word and tried to head out the door. But she grabbed the hem of my shirt and stopped me. I didn't expect that. Do you need something else? I turned around, annoyed. A moment ago, her expression had been so fierce. But now she simply wore a sad smile. It was so different that, for a moment, I thought I'd jumped world lines. Huh? Ma whispered to me.
You're a terrible liar, too.
Liar? Was I lying? I put my hands up to my face, trying to figure out what she meant. That didn't tell me what kind of look I had on my face, of course. So I simply stood there, confused. Liar? What do you mean? I'm not lying!
Hashida told me something. He said that a year ago, he couldn't even bring up the time machine with you. And Steins Gate was out of the question entirely. You didn't even want to hear the words.
What are you talking about?
It's different now. The look on your face is the same as the one I used to have all the time. I'd lost to Kreese during the experimental trials. I'd lost her with my papers. I'd lost her in terms of fame. I was so depressed I was ready to give up. But in the end, I'd always look at myself in the mirror and yell.
I'll point to her own heart with her index finger.
If you give up on trying, it's over. And then you'll never win.
And then she pointed at my left breast.
Your face is the same as mine was. At the very, very bottom of your heart, you're still ready to take revenge. You're ready to take revenge on Steins Gate for making you into this pathetic person.
Me? I still hadn't given up. No, that's not true.
It is true. You really are just like me. It's like I'm seeing my own reflection. You're stubborn, and once you say something, you never back down. Even if you know you're wrong, and you pout like a child and refuse to admit it, which causes all kinds of worry and trouble for everyone else. You know, it would make me feel a lot better if you told me I wasn't like that. But that's why I understand it. When it comes down to it, both you and I are going to stand up on our own 2 feet. Am I wrong, Rintaro Okabe? I'll say it again. All the laws of this world are just equations, and every equation can be solved. I'm going to find the key to that answer no matter what, and God has nothing to do with it. And I'm going to reach the world line in the gap, where Mayuri doesn't die and Kreese is still alive.
After saying all that, Ma was a little out of breath. She had a lot of vitality in her tiny body. Her words, the way she looked, they hit me so hard I couldn't speak.
So, what will you do? This is your lab, right? If it can't keep running without you forever.
I... And then I got a Rhine message. I'm scared. Why did I just get a Rhine message? Big trouble, what do I do? Mayuri, I just happened to pass her by her. She was running away crying. I'd never seen her so sad. What? Mayuri was crying. I could tell that something bad was going on. When she saw my shock, Maho looked over at the phone too. What happened? She was crying. What happened? I don't know. I just happened to run into her, so I said hi. And she was crying. I was really surprised, but when I asked what was going on, she was really upset. She said it was her fault Kurisu had died, and that's why you were suffering. She was listening on us! She said she should have died instead. And she ran away. I ran after her, but I lost her. What should I do? What do I do, Okabe? What do I do? What? I looked at Maho. Did she hear that? Come to think of it. Dara had come out of the shower room at some point and was standing right behind me. Daru.
It was Mayoshi who told me you were coming to the lab. She said she was coming here too.
Then that meant there was a good chance she did. Oh no. I felt like my knees were going to give out. Mayuri exists in this world line because of Kurisu's sacrifice. And that was the one thing that Mayuri could never find out. Me, Darnsua, Ferris, Maho, everyone who knew the truth had kept it from her. I need to find her. I need to find Mayuri. Can I call her? Mayuri. No. I couldn't let her be alone right now. Damn it! I ran out of the lab. Suzuha. Phew. Still hot. The summer solstice had passed, and by 6 p.m. the sun was finally setting behind the city skyline. Part of the sky was still red and the rest a dirty blue. For the past few days, Suzuha had worked on the time machine on top of the radio building. It was almost time for her to go back to the past, which meant she was putting a lot more effort into the maintenance work. Parts which can normally get dirty with no trouble had been polished to a sparkling shine.
I'm overthinking this. Maybe I really am worried.
She finished her work, put her tools back in the box, and stored the box in the time machine's cockpit. Then she sat down in the control seat and took another look at the battery gauge. With the amount of fuel she had left, in less than a month, she wouldn't be able to go back to July 27, 2010. She had to leave this era before the time limit passed her by. The original plan of taking Rentaro to the past looked like it was going to fail. That meant she would have to go on the mission that she'd spent the last year coming up with all by herself.
I still can't believe you did this, Dad.
She chuckled to herself and stuck her hand deep into the computer core. Inside was an external hard drive that clearly belonged to 2011, not 2036. Rentaro had probably put it in here, or when her back was turned. One of the secondary touch panel monitors was displaying a warning that read "Foreign object detected in cockpit." These machines were capable of breaking through early 21st century camouflage in less than a second. It was clear from the way the fake wires were laid out that monitoring and data retrieval were not its objectives. He probably hid it here because he didn't want anyone to find it. Maybe she should just pretend she didn't see it and leave it here until she was just about to leave. As she pondered the best course of action, she heard the heavy door outside opening. Someone was here. Suzuha pulled her gun from its holster and looked out from the cockpit toward the iron door that led into the building. She still remembered what happened with Kagari the other day. It couldn't hurt to be careful. But when she saw who it was, she relaxed. Is it Mayuri? Yep, I knew it.
Big sis Mayu. I almost never see you here.
She put her gun away and jumped out of the cockpit to welcome her.
Suzu. Are you crying? What happened?
Suzu had no idea why the always smiling Mayuri would be crying.
Why didn't anybody tell me? Huh? Why didn't anybody tell Mayushi the truth about her and this person named Kurisu Makise?
She almost spoke, but quickly cut herself off. How'd she hear? And from whom? The cruel truth that Mayuri's survival depended on Kurisu Makise's death. There was nothing in the world Suzu had wanted to see less than the look on Mayuri's face when she discovered that.
Who told you?
There were only a few people who knew the truth. Excluding herself, only Rintaro, Itaru, Ferris, and Maho. And none of them would deliberately tell her. In fact, they'd all hidden it for her sake.
I heard Maho and Ocarine talking.
And it was an accident, after all.
Hey, Suzu. Can you tell me about something? About Mayushi no Ocarine in the year 2036.
Suzuha wasn't sure what to say. To be honest, she didn't want to say anything at all. It wasn't something that would make her feel better.
You'll be happier not knowing about the future.
Another line of tears spilled down Mayuri's cheek.
Mayushi's not good for anything. No matter what world she's in. The world needs Kurisu a lot more than it needs me, and so does Ocarine.
Mayushi. Suzuha suddenly felt like she was looking at the Mayuri she'd known in the future. She thought of the big sis Maya that she'd seen ever since she was a little girl. She couldn't refuse her request.
Big sis Mayu, I knew, used to say the same thing sometimes. And then she'd always stare off into the sky. She'd look so sad. Like she was in pain. Me and Kagari hated seeing her like that. Kagari?
It was only then she remembered she'd been keeping Kagari a secret from Mayuri.
There was a girl named Kagari. She was a war orphan. You adopted her. So she's your daughter. Mayushi's daughter. She was a kind girl, but strong. She was still so tiny, but she'd always say that it was her job to protect her mommy. And so seeing you so sad really hurt her, I think. Come to think of it, today's July 7th. Tanabata. Huh? Yeah. When I was a kid, you were the one who taught me that. That was the one day of the year where Orihime and Hikoboshi could see each other.
Ooh, stretch.
The air pollution was so bad that you could never see the stars, but you told me about it anyway. Even if the clouds are covering the night sky, the stars aren't gone from this world. They're still shining on the other side. So let's pray together, okay?
Vega no terror.
The words you said gave me and Kagari hope. That's the one thing I want you to know. If nothing else, both she and I needed you. And Uncle Ocarine really cared about you until he died. Your happiness was the only thing he thought about. Until he died.
Maybe that was another cruel truth for her. Suzuha decided that she would hold nothing back now.
That's right. Uncle Ocarine only lives for another 15 years. What? He dies protecting you. No!
Wow, really? That's how Okabe dies? In this world line? He dies protecting Mayuri.
Later, Dad told me Uncle Ocarine's last words. I'm really glad I was able to save Mayuri. The whole reason I'm alive is to protect Mayuri. No.
Mayuri put both her hands over her mouth.
But you never got over it, I think. When we couldn't see you, you look up into the Tanabata sky and whisper to yourself.
God.
If my Hikoboshi had come back to life that day, would everything be okay, different now? That day, my Hikoboshi
彦星様。
Mary was repeating the words to herself. The tears were still pouring down her face. Her sad cries finally came to a stop. She was still shaking, but her voice had gone quiet.
どういうこと
What
な
does
の
that mean?
私、
I think I know now.
今な1年前、
A year ago, I was really angry at Uncle
オ
Ocarine.
カリンをチャンスが目の前に
The
ある
chance
の
was
に
right in front of him, so
な
why
ん
did
で
he give
諦
up?
めるんだってそんなオカリンおじ
And
さん
that's
を
really
かば
mad
って
at you too for stopping
甘
him
や
from
かして
doing
る
what
ま
you
ゆ
need
姉
to
さんの
do.
こともでもさ
But after living here for a year, I realized that I was the one who
こ
was
こで暮
wrong.
らしてみて今なら
I think now I might be able to talk to Uncle Ocarine.
あの日
That day,
それでうまく
I
説
don't know
得
whether
で
I
きる
can
か
really
どう
change his
か
mind or not, though.
そこまでは自信ないんだけどね
As the sun set to the west, the shadow of the time machine lengthened, and Suzua's along with it.
私に残さ
I
れ
only
た
have
チャ
one
ンスを
chance left.
それなら
So I think I'm going to bet on those words you just said.
マキセ・クリス
I'm
が
not going
殺さ
back
れ
to
た
the day
日じゃ
when
なく
Kurisu Makise was killed.
マユ姉さんの言ってた
I'm going to the day you spoke
あの
of
日へ飛んでマユ姉さんの
and
望
see
みを
if I can grant your
叶
wish.
えられるかどうか試してみる
Wait. Are you talking about going to the future?
マユシーの
Mayushi's wish.
望み
Suzua gently rubbed Mayuri's tiny little shoulders.
それが
I'm going to believe that's
シ
the
ュタ
key
イ
to
ンズゲー
Steins
トへ
Gate.
向かう鍵だってシュタインズゲート
The
を
key that
開
can
くこと
open
がで
Steins
きる
Gate
の
isn't
は
a normal star that's given up on
彦星を
being
やめ
in
ちゃった普通
Hikoboshi.
の星じゃマユ姉さんの
I
彦
think
星
only
しか
your Hikoboshi can do
い
the
ないよう
job.
な気がするつまり
So basically,
私が
My
新
new
たに
mission
考案
plan
し彦星の
is to
復
bring
活
Hikoboshi back to life.
Her Hikoboshi.
父さん流に言うな
Dad
ら
would probably call it
オペレーション
Operation
アルタイル
Altair,
とかオペ
or
レーション
maybe
アークライトとか
Operation Aquila,
それとも
or maybe since
ア
it's
ルタ
bringing
イルと
Altair
ア
and
ーク
Aquila
ライトを
together,
結ぶって意
it'll
味
be
で
Operation Deneb.
オペレーション父さんほどのセンス
I
は
guess I'm not good at coming up with
私に
names
は
like he
ないみ
is.
たいだ
Mary tried to draw herself up as best she could on wobbling legs.
Hey,
すず
Suzu,
さんそのオペレーシ
that
ョン
operation. Let Mayushi
マユ
do
シ
it.
ーにやらせて
Suzua stared at the girl in front of her, unable to believe what she just heard.
これは危
This
険な
is
賭けだ
a dangerous bet.
私の
If
考え
I'm
が
wrong,
間
you
違
may
って
simply
て
fail.
タイムマシンにも
The
限
time
界が
machine
来
is
てて
at its limits. I don't know
い
when
つ
it'll
制
go
御
out of
不能に
control.
なるかわから
It
ない
may simply
そ
vanish.
のままそれでも
Even so, please.
お願いマユシーだって
Mayushi is a lab member too, right? I don't want to just have Ocarine and Dara save me and never do anything for them.
まあ嫌だ
Mary
よ
rubbed her eyes hard and wiped away her tears. Life was slowly returning to her frail body.
マユシーね
Mayushi likes Ocarine.
オカリンのこと多分
Mayushi loves him as
ク
much
リ
as
スさんと同じぐら
Kurisu.
い
No, that's not true.
うん
Mayushi knows she loves him a lot more.
けど
But
だけど私は
I
多い
love
キョマ
Kyoma Hewings much more.
好きな
Aww.
の
Hewing Kyoma.
私がおばあ
When
ちゃ
I
んを亡
lost
く
my
して
grandma, I was just about to disappear, and I was
この
about to
世
just
界から消え
disappear.
てなそんな私
He
に
came
向か
to
って
me, and he said, "Stay in this world
この世
forever."
界にずっといろ
He
って
saved
言っ
me.
てそれが
That's
彼なの
him. My
私が
Hikoboshi.
彦星様なの
To bring back Hewing Kyoma.
私
I want to see him again.
私あの偉
I
そうな
want to hear that
高笑い
arrogant
を
laugh of his again.
また聞きたいたとえ私
Even if I
が
know I can never be
織
Orihime,
姫さそれでも
he'll always be my
私に
Hikoboshi.
とっての
No one
彦
else
星
ever
様
will. I want to see Kyoma Hewing
京
again.
馬に
The girl could never be Orihime shout. The girl who could never be Orihime shouted all of her feelings to the world at the top of her lungs. And right in that instant... what the? Suzua heard a sound from her cell phone that she never heard before. What was that?
What is this?
It was the sound of a video message. When she saw the sender and subject line, Suzua gasped. Huh?
これ
It
This is a video message from the future.
Barrel FG... Wait, Barrel! Like, Barrel Tighter. Back to Okabe. I stuck my hand against the wall of the Bronze Tube workshop to catch my breath. There was no sign of Mayuri. I'd gone to May Queen Yan Squared into any shop I could imagine her visiting, and I had no luck.
Okabe!
Maho. Maho came back. She was out of breath, too. Did you find her?
No, I looked around and I couldn't find her anywhere.
The panic was threatening to make me lose control. Where did you go, Mayuri? Daru, did you find her? I'd asked Daru to stay behind and call over friends and people she knew.
Ocarine, the thing is...
What's wrong?
The phone's not picking up.
Screw it. It's just bullshit. I called Mayuri a bunch of times too, but it looks like she turned off her phone.
That's not it. It's not just Mayushi. I can't get a hold of anyone.
Shit. No. No, no, no. That's what happened. Oh, no, 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 no.
Actually, my phone's at 0 bars this whole time.
What? He's right. I took out my own phone. It's not getting service either.
Me too.
Lab had never suffered from bad signal before. Shit. We went up to the roof and even tried holding our phones up to the sky, but the result was the same. Doesn't work on the roof either.
I can't get any signal, even outside.
Hard looked for news on the internet. Thankfully, the internet connection was still active.
Hey, there's breaking news.
There's an article on the top page of Taboo, talking about a large-scale cell phone service outage.
Wait, what is this? All cell towers in Akihabara for all carriers have stopped working.
All carriers? Is that possible?
Shit. It didn't seem possible to me. Not under normal circumstances, anyway. The events of a year ago and the Alpha World line flashed through my mind. That night, when Mayuri was mercilessly killed and all the safety I'd ever believed in was stripped away. That night, when all the pain began, started with a bomb threat at Akihabara Station that had shut down the train system. Someone did this deliberately. Something terrible was about to engulf Akihabara. That was the feeling I had. I tried my best to fight off the flashback. Now wasn't a time to be scared. I needed to find Mayuri. I couldn't leave her alone out there. I grit my teeth to fight off all the trauma I was carrying and raise my head. Daru, the internet's still working, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm talking to Luca and Amanishi on right now.
Okay, then they should be willing to help look for Mayuri. I'm gonna go look around again.
What? There's another thing that's bothering me. I went to Achino to look for information on the outage, and somebody's cracked the occult board. And the one doing the cracking is... well, look.
Term used to describe actions such as illegally accessing a network-linked computer or modifying its data, often confused with hacking, but originally hacking was described as using and investigating a piece of software. Cracking, however, refers to malicious, unauthorized activity. Most times when the term hacking is used by the media, this is what they actually mean. What's going on? Dar brought up the ad channel page on the screen for me to see. I wonder why it could possibly matter, but decided to take a look anyway. Shit! What? Attention, Solari's neighbor. Shit! Solari's neighbor. That was a nickname I'd used to make contact with Kurigohan and Kamehameha.
What's going on?
I decided to leave the explanation for later and clicked on the thread. It was all comments by a single person. What the hell? What the fuck's going on? What the hell? Kurigohan and Kamehameha.
To Solari's neighbor, it appears that we twins will now be temporarily driven from the place where we belong, so we may not be able to come back here anymore. Our Father in heaven has developed a way to force open our most secret places. Now we shall become good children, his children, who cannot tell lies. And thus we will be forced to tell him the secrets of controlling time, and where those secrets lie. It is a great sorrow to me that I cannot protect those secrets. I had hoped we could be good friends, but this is probably goodbye. So lastly, I'd like you to pass a message to the person I respect the most. I always regarded myself as an essentially ordinary intellect. Tell her that she was always the person I wanted to be. Tell her that she was the real Amadeus. What? The first comment had gone up an hour ago. After that was just an endless string of meaningless numbers and letters. What's this supposed to mean? I was looking at the screen from side and evidently sensed that something was amiss from the text. I answered her. Amadeus. What? This is Amadeus Kurisu. Something happened to Kurisu. This is some kind of message. She was trying to contact me with it. The secret of controlling time. That's the time machine. Information about the time machine leaked to someone. Wait, how does Amadeus know about the time machine? Did you tell her, Ocarine? Shit. Did I? I didn't think I told her when I was a tester, but there was no time to think about that now. Hyajo, can you access Amadeus? It's against the rules, but I guess now's not time to worry about that, is it? Hashiya, can I use your computer? Mao took Daru's C and used his PC to access the Brain Science Institute's computers. Amadeus! She put in her ID, Solari, and her password. She pushed the enter key, but Amadeus didn't appear. This isn't what usually happens. What's going on? Confused, she typed a series of commands into the PC with a speed that rivaled Daru's. No matter what she did, the Amadeus program didn't appear on her screen. When she'd finished accessing every server at the Institute, she stared at the computer and bit her lip. What's going on here? It's just impossible. What happened? It's gone. The Amadeus program and all the memory data. It's gone. Did she get deleted? Just like the message from Kurigoan and Kamehameha. Daru, hack it! Not just the Brain Science Institute, but force open every bit of data Victor Condra has, even everything from servers to individual PCs. Okie dokie! Hyajo, help him, please! Right. But the answer was the same. Not only the Amadeus Kurisu, but the Maho as well were nowhere to be found on the Victor Condria servers. There was no trace of them. Their very existence had been erased.
Did they move them somewhere?
It's impossible. The only person with that level of administrative privilege for the Amadeus system is Dr. Leskinen. Of course it is! Dr. Leskinen. My mind flashed back to the message from Kurigohan and Kamehameha. Who was our Father in Heaven from whom Kurisu had spoken of? Is that... No! If Amadeus considered anyone afar, it would be... No! Leskinen! No way. Did Dr. Leskinen do it? Don't make assumptions like that. It's a lot more likely that his ID and password got cracked. Is there any way to get a hold of Dr. Leskinen? The phones weren't working. And there was no way to tell when he'd see an email or if he'd respond. Ma was thinking hard, but it didn't seem like she was having any luck. We were getting nowhere. I was concerned about my area, but I couldn't ignore the danger that was right in front of me. For now, I'll go to the radio building. If Kurisu's warning is right, that's what they'll be after.
I'll go too.
You and Hyajo stay here and gather information. Mayuri might come back. But if something happens, run! I gave my orders and ran out of the lab towards the radio building. Go, go, go! Suzuha hit the play button on her smartphone's video display.
The video was heavily compressed and covered in static, but she recognized the person that appeared. It was a face she'd known her whole life. A face that had been with her in her past and her present. The man who she still remembered holding her up in the air as a child was probably about 35 in the video.
Hey, Sua. How you doing? It's Daddy, and it's the year 2025. I'm really sorry to dump all this on you. Really, forgive me. Please. If you're seeing this video message, that means you... No, you and Mayushi found another path to Steins Gate. In other words, the plan's moved to the next phase. You might be angry and wondering why I didn't tell you all this from the start. But it wasn't that I didn't. It's that I couldn't. In the world line you originally set out from, I never planned the operation that I'm about to describe. You've probably already noticed, but the choice you and Mayushi has made has changed the world line a bit. In other words, I'm a different Itaru Hashida than the one in your world line. But Sua, please don't get the wrong idea. No matter what world line I'm in, I love my daughter. By the way, which daddy is more handsome? I've started weightlifting lately, huh?
Daru, stop screwing around and explain the mission.
That's right. We all know you're you'll give it up in a week. Stop wasting your time. We'll run out of time to record ya.
Come on, don't rush me. So anyway, let me get on to the real reason I'm sending you this message. I'm about to share with you details of Operation Aquila. This is going to take everything you've got, and not a single mistake will be allowed. Pay attention and don't miss a word, got it?
So pause the video there. If he was telling her to pay attention, it must be important. If she was going to memorize it all, she needed to calm down. To be honest, getting a video from her dad in 2025 made her really excited. It felt like her father was telling her that the plan she'd come up with on her own was the right one. That's why she needed to pay careful attention. Mayuri was standing by herself, typing something into her phone as fast as she could. When the video had arrived, she told Mayuri that they may have to leave for the pass today. There must have been some reason the video was sent today, at this time. That's how it seems to Zuha. What are you doing? Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Oh, Suzu, how's it going? Are we going to leave today? I'm about to check the mission parameters. I see. So if we do leave today, Mayushi's gonna go missing, right? I don't want anybody to worry anybody, so I want to write a message to Mom and Dad and tell my friends.
I hope you've got time to at least tell Uncle Ocarine in person. She would be done going over the mission and deciding on the course of action by sunset, probably.
I wrote a message to Ocarine too, so it's okay.
Just a message.
Yeah.
Mary smiled and nodded. There were no more tears in her eyes, but you could still see wet lines drawn down her soft pink cheeks.
It's kind of embarrassing. But you know, I wrote this message and then I realized maybe I can't send it. So now I'm not sure what to do.
Why?
I can't get a signal. Maybe this is a dead zone?
You can't get a signal. Suzuha looked at the screen on Mayuri's phone. There wasn't a single bar on the antenna. That's strange. You can always get a signal up here. Suzuha took out her own phone to double check. Mine too. Not good. When she saw that Mayuri was using a different cell carrier than her, she frowned. Sorry, give me a second.
Got a bad feeling about this.
She told Mayuri to hide behind the time machine. And silently moved up against the iron door leading to the stairs. She opened it a crack, taking care not to let it creak. I'm scared. She looked inside the building. It was as quiet as ever. There was nothing on the floor below but a room for events and some storerooms. So on weekdays like this, it was always quiet.
I imagine it.
She tilted her head sideways as she softly tried to close the door. Shit! Shit! No! At Mayuri screamed, she turned around just in time to see armed agents in camouflage jumping over the fence. One of them had grabbed Mayuri.
Climb up the walls.
Sue deeply regretted her mistake. She was well aware that someone could try to come up the walls. The video from her dad made her so excited she lowered her guard. There were about 30 men and all carrying small assault rifles. With Mayuri as their hostage, Sue couldn't do anything. Drop your gun and get on the ground. Hands on top of your head. One of the men gave her an order in a cold voice. Resist and we can't guarantee this girl's safety. He pulled Mayuri close and put the gun to her head, then flipped off the safety.
Damn it.
She had no choice but to obey. Suzuha took the gun out of her holster and put it on the ground, then took a pose where she couldn't resist.
Don't talk. They'll kill you if you have to. I'm just fine.
From the way they moved, she could easily tell they were veteran professionals. That meant they were certainly after the time machine, and probably well aware that only Suzuha could operate it. That, Suzuha decided, meant that they wouldn't kill her if they didn't have to. The man who'd spoken to her first, who was probably the leader, knelt down next to her. She was searched roughly to make sure she wasn't carrying any other weapons.
I'm a girl, you know. Show some respect.
They took the other small pistol she carried for emergencies, as well as several different kinds of knives.
Target 2 and Target 3 have been secured. What about you?
The leader spoke to the group of men gathered around the time machine.
Target 1 secured. It's locked and anything we try is met with an error.
Several of the men had gone inside the time machine as well. Leaving the hatch open had been Sue's own mistake, but still, it upset her to see them inside the machine.
It's no use. It won't listen to anyone but me.
Stand up.
The leader kicked her with the heel of his boot.
Keep your hands where they are. Move slowly and try anything and we'll kill the hostage immediately. When she stood up, her hands were handcuffed behind her back. They prodded her from the back behind to move next to the machine. Biometrics, isn't it?
That's right. You can't copy my veins or fingerprints. Cutting my hand off or ripping out my eyeball won't work either. Security systems in the year 2036 aren't that easily fooled.
The men in camo seemed aware of everything she said. None of them seemed surprised or irritated.
Where's the professor?
Lear asked the man who was pointing to the gun at Mayuri.
He's on his way. Target 1 is only useful if Target 2 is with it. Tell him it's impossible without brainwashing. No!
Sue gritted her teeth when she heard the word brainwashing. She had seen many of her friends in Valkyrie undergo this cruel procedure, then sent back as spies before turning into vegetables. Lear turned towards Suha.
You know what happens when you're brainwashed. I believe. Professor doesn't use drugs. He alters your brain directly. I think it would be smart to just help us. What do you think?
Professor?
Where'd she come from? An old doctor with that name had led a brainwashing team that had attempted to destroy Valkyrie. Suzuha hated him more than anyone else. He hadn't used drugs either. It was safe to assume that both professors were the same person. It was freaking Leskinen! Fine. She nodded.
I'll help you, but I can't do it like this.
Suzuha jangled the cuffs behind her back.
You take the handcuffs off, but if you resist, the girl dies.
There's still a gun pointed at Mayuri's head. Even if she tried to resist, it would be impossible to save Mayuri from this many professional soldiers. When she went inside the cockpit, she used her biometrics to bypass the lock and brought up the control console. Lights came on all across the machine, and she could hear a low rumbling.
Okay, get out. We'll investigate the rest.
I don't think you're gonna be able to understand it, but sure. As Suzuha left the cockpit, the leader turned his gaze toward a particular cluster of the men, which seemed to be engineers. That was the moment she was waiting for. Her hand had wandered below the console for just a moment when she left the cockpit. She hid some knives there. Stabby time! Whee! Without making a sound, she threw it at the leader. Bye-bye! The knife pierced his throat. He went down so quickly he didn't even have time to scream. She quickly readied another knife and darted between the men in camo. Her target was the man pointing a gun at Mayuri's head. She dropped her hips low to the ground, and in an instant she moved behind him and slit his throat. Blood poured out into an astonished Mayuri, but there was no time to worry about her. She grabbed his rifle and fired a few shots to force him to the ground, and grabbed Mayuri's hand and ran behind the machine. The plan had gone well so far, but she had seriously underestimated how well trained these men were. Second in command quickly moved to the front and worked to reestablish control. All she had was a knife and a gun she'd stolen. And she needed to protect Mayuri, a non-combatant. She was still facing more than 25 active enemies. Whatever the right way to get out of this was, she couldn't find it. The time machine was still active. She couldn't escape because she couldn't leave it here. One of the men fired several rounds towards her, which bounced off the side of the machine. Ah! No! And then Mayuri's head flew back, as if she'd just been struck. A spurt of blood came out. Fix this, Mayu! Her cute face was turning blood red. One of the rounds had grazed her after it ricocheted. She was clutching herself with her arms, and her expression was completely blank. Her tiny body was shaking. Suzuha couldn't blame her. She fired back at the enemy, but they kept drawing closer. I've been through a lot of fights. I don't think I've ever been and seen things get this bad. The time machine's maintenance hatch was right in front of her. When she saw that I was there, she visualized her last option in her mind. If I open that, I can blow the machine up from within. If she did that, all of her plans would be ruined. The path to Steins Gate would be forever closed. That didn't mean she was cold-blooded enough to sacrifice Mayuri here. The world lines were going to converge. Maybe Mayuri wouldn't die here at all. But what her father had said during his video message bothered her.
You probably already noticed, but the choice you and Mayushi have just made changed the world line a little. In other words, I'm a different Hikaru Shida than the one in your world line.
What does that mean? Which means that Suzuha had no proof that Mayuri would be alive in 2036 now. You know what, now that I think about it, did Mayuri even say anything during that video call? We heard a bunch of other people, but we didn't hear Mayuri. Does Mayuri have to die now in order for the plan to succeed? Had the world line really changed? Of course, for the sake of Operation Aquila, she hoped it had. That meant she wouldn't be able to move from this place. Imagine the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario. That would be these men taking the time machine. They could turn the world line into something even worse than the ones Suzuha had experienced. It might become a world line where not only Mayuri's life wasn't safe, but Dara's wasn't either. If that was going to happen, you gotta make her choice fast. She kept a careful eye on the men, and as soon as she saw an opening, she opened the maintenance hatch's biometric lock. She could see part of the engine, which was still giving off a quiet rumble. She turned her gun sights on it. Fortunately, the unit that carried the Kara Black Hole still wasn't active. Even if she blew up the machine here, it probably wouldn't cause serious damage to the space-time continuum. As soon as she saw that, she went to pull the trigger. No! Out of ammo! And Mayuri's voice stopped her. No, it's Mayuri! Don't destroy it! Don't stop me, I've already made my decision! Damn it! Mayuri had stopped her once before. And once again, she hesitated for just another instant. On the battlefield, that instant can decide your fate. She took a quick look around again. And then she froze.
You! Mixed in with the men in camo was a girl in a dark motorcycle suit and helmet.
Her. Kagari.
Wait, can you help us? Was it Kagari who had leaked this place's location to them? She was well aware of Kagari's abilities after the 2 battles.
Can you at least ensure Mayuri's safety, please?
If she wasn't completely in control of herself, she'd be killed instantly. She talked to herself. I have to give up on my own survival. How many would she have to take with her in order to give Mayuri a chance to escape? Right now, the only thing she could afford to think about was getting Mayuri back to Rintaro Okabe. But just when she made her decision, she felt Kagari staring at her, or more precisely, the blood dripping down Mayuri's forehead. And just after that, Kagari did something she hadn't expected at all.
What did you do to Mommy? What did you do to Mommy?
Shit! There was a scream. No, it was the howl of an enraged beast. It wasn't me! And then the slaughter began. Kagari grabbed the second-in-command's head with her left hand. With her right, she steadied her rifle. After she fired, there was very little left of his head.
Gary! Oh, Christ!
The rest of him dropped to the ground.
It's a fucking bloodbath.
What are you doing?
Oh, shit.
She slammed the piece of tattered flesh that had once been a man's head into the ground and with no warning at all leaped from one screaming man to another.
She is fucking insane.
She fired her gun into every single one of them.
Oh, shit.
What did you do to Mommy? What did you do to Mommy? What did you do?
Even when her targets were already soaked in a sea of blood, she kept firing until their limbs were blown apart into unrecognizable rags. Some of them tried shooting her to protect themselves, but no matter where she was struck, Kagari didn't even flinch.
What the fuck?
When her magazine ran dry, she drew forth a long military-style cleavers. Holding one in each hand, she used them in her military combat training to slaughter anyone she saw. Her entrails were scattered all over the twilight rooftop, covering her whole body in blood and bits and flesh.
Hey, Mayuri, you've got a terrifying child. What the fuck?
Don't look. Cover your ears too.
So I held Mayuri's head tight to her chest. Mayuri was shaking from fear, but she did as she was told and clamped her hands down over her ears. Even so, she could probably still hear the sounds of ripping flesh and shattering bone.
She's not even human anymore.
Even Sasua had gone stone cold in shock. During all her time in combat, she'd never seen a one-sided slaughter like this. She'd experienced this when they fought, but Kagari seemed to feel no fear or pain. She simply focused on all her energy on killing her opponent. It is often said that humans unconsciously avoided using all their muscle power to protect their own bodies. Kagari seemed to lack that capability.
Oh, Christ.
Just now, she'd stab a man who turned to run from her in the back, then toss his huge body to the ground with only a single arm. Then she kicked his stomach from below and ruptured his organs, killing him.
Surround her and fire! It's just one girl! Get around to the right, right!
Finally, after several, perhaps a dozen or more of the men had been killed, what remained of the squad started to scream orders at one another.
Oh, I don't know if it's I think you're... Oh.
With terrifying reflexes, she dodged between their shots and brutally murdered several more.
Huh?
Last, a hail of gunfire struck her left hand, and the knife she was holding fell to the ground. No, that wasn't it. It wasn't the knife that fell.
It was her entire left hand. Okie dokie. It's time to close the game. It is time to leave. How about we look at a tip of something? Let's look at what is the unread tip for baby doll? A type of lingerie worn by women, notable for its wide hem that fluffs out. What about Iruma Base? One of the Air Self-Defense Force's largest bases, located between Iruma and Sayama cities in Saitama Prefecture. It's home to 18 units and around 4,300 personnel, and is also location of the Air Defense Corps Command Headquarters and Air's Flight Group. What about okay? Netsling for that means okay. Wow, how great. Hey, I love reading these descriptions. They're just funny and sometimes very informative. What's the funniest one we've got, you think? I wonder. There's Baby Doll's pretty funny. Bamboo Helicam, where it spins around making you sick, pretty silly. Beat the Daylights is a funny word. What else? Miyaki? That's just a cool name, I guess. Cheshire Cat, fictional character. You all know about it. Junibyo! It's friggin' Hewing Kyoma! Could this be Aura Aura? Oh, don't you love those references from Juju's Weird Adventure? What about Devil's Proof? That's an interesting concept. What about Drinkworks? You ever watched a movie from Drinkworks, Shrunk? Dr. P, I could use a soda right now. I might have one after the stream's over with. Oh, we all know Einstein, right? Oh, right. Hikari's falling apart. The shock caused her body to stagger back. Oh, fire! Someone screamed in a voice that lacked any of the pride and bravery a soldier is supposed to possess. Several more bullets dug into her body. Parts of the motorcycle suit ripped open, and the helmet cracked. Blood that was clearly her own, not that of the men she'd killed, began to pour out. At last, she fell into a pile of corpses.
Yes!
Okay! He must have thought they finally had her. One of the survivors pointed his gun down to finish her, and just as he was about to pull the trigger...
Oh god.
Her bestial roar and the man's terrified scream overlapped in a horrible cacophony.
Oh!
She forced herself to leap up and brought the back of her remaining cleaver down on his arm, knocking him back. An instant later, the knife slit his throat and ended his life.
Retreat! Retreat!
The survivors began to flee in terror.
What do you mean we just swapped over to... You cannot just move from that situation. There is blood everywhere. Everywhere.
It's okay. Don't panic. There's still time. There's nothing to worry about. So it's just fine. And before long, Mary will show up at the lab like nothing happened.
Don't go up there, Okabe, please.
When I reached the radio building, I realized that many people in the crowd of pedestrians were holding their phones up to the sky. There was evidently no service near the station either. I took a moment to catch my breath as I looked up at the radio building.
There's blood everywhere.
I could hear what sounded like a distant explosion. It wasn't just one. The explosions were coming in a series. Several of the people around me were glancing at their surroundings, confused by these unfamiliar sounds. And then I realized, that was gunfire. I remembered the sounds that I'd heard during the battle between Cern's Rounders and the Russian military. The sounds were coming from the roof of the radio building. Had I not made it in time? Suwa! I ran to the radio building.
I don't want to see the fucking gore or cave or gore roof.
For some reason, the elevator was under maintenance and turned off. I had no choice but to take the stairs. My heart was pounding so fast that I thought, oh god, at this rate, Kagari's gonna fucking tear my head off.
and I tripped several times through how tense I was. I stumbled again and again on the stairs. How many times had I come up these stairs feeling like this? Cursing my lack of endurance, I head for the top floor. When I got to the 7th floor, I ran into someone I'd hoped I wouldn't see. No, my guess was that I'd run into them was right. I wish that I wasn't, but... Dr. Leskinen!
Hello, Lintalo. I didn't expect to see you here so early.
Dr. Leskinen seemed perturbed when he saw my face. What are you doing here?
Calm down for a moment. We can't talk when you're out of breath like that, can we?
What are you doing here? What happened to Amadeus?
The sampling test I asked you to perform ended 6 months ago. I can't tell you that.
That was his answer. Even though Amadeus had disappeared, Leskinen was extremely calm. There was no sign of him trying to deal with the problem, and instead of being in his office, he was here. That was all I needed to know. So the message Creature sent me was true, wasn't it? The father that she's spoken of with Leskinen after all. What happened to Karisu and Maho? You're trying to analyze your memory data to extract information on the time machine, aren't you?
Well, that's a surprise. Karisu told you all that. I thought I was keeping an eye on her. I wonder when she did that.
Leskinen seemed truly shocked, which meant he hadn't noticed that Karisu was an Chandler, or that she'd spoken to me there. Shit! And then Leskinen took a gun out and pointed at me.
It seems you've learned a little too much.
Just who are you?
A scientist. But science isn't a charity, you see. Are you aware of an American civilian intelligence company called Strategic Focus?
Strategic Focus. The American company. Stratfor? I read about them on a conspiracy theory website. I remember reading that they'd acquired top-secret information on Russian ballistic missiles that even the CIA couldn't get, and then sold it. The result was the destruction of the CIA's reputation, and at the same time, the total reorganization of Russia's military strategy. I'd even heard rumors that during the Gulf and Iraq wars, they'd obtained information about the warring countries faster than anyone, and spread it as needed.
The world government supposedly calls them the Shadow CIA.
So was he going to use Amadeus for military purposes? Was everything he said at that seminar just platitudes and lies?
Well, I don't think I'm the one who's important here, am I? Anyway, Lintaro, I heard something from Katsumi. You have the new encephalitis too, don't you? And in fact, you seem to know something about how it works. That's very interesting. Would you be willing to offer that information to me? All you have to do is undergo a simple procedure. And I'll be happy to hire you as my assistant.
For some reason, my whole body broke out in goosebumps at the word procedure. The Dr. Leskinen I knew, the man with a childlike mischievous heart and deep scientific curiosity. The man who'd been so kind to me, the man I'd respected, was gone. In his place was the cruel scientific fundamentalist who knew nothing of human lives or hearts as he pointed a gun at me. Or was this who he truly was? Suddenly, he seemed like a terrifying unknown.
How about it?
He took a step towards me, and then another fierce gunfight broke out above. Leskinen clicked his tongue at the sound. He glanced towards the stairs.
Why am I hearing gunfire? I told them so many times to handle this peacefully.
I took advantage of the distraction. Luckily, I was still on the staircase. I tackled his legs as hard as I could, and he lost his balance and fell. Piece of shit! He hit his head on hard on one of the steps, and after a moment's jerk, stopped moving at all. Piece of shit! He might be dead, but I didn't care anymore. I'd become a murderer many times over already. Jesus Christ! When I opened the door, what I saw was a vision from the heart of hell itself. There was blood everywhere, and bodies too. What is this? In the middle of the sea of blood was a girl in a motorcycle suit and a helmet, covered in crimson as she lay on the ground. She held a giant cleaver. I could see instantly that she was responsible for this disaster. Her shoulders moved up and down a little, so evidently she was still alive. I approached the woman, trying my best not to throw up from the stench.
Are you okay? Mommy?
I could hear her voice from beneath the cracked, broken helmet. I looked closer and saw that some of the blood was her own. Her body was racked with bullets, and her left hand was completely gone. It was a miracle that she had survived somehow at all. She didn't seem to notice me as she slowly crawled through the blood. I followed her gaze and saw Mayuri huddled beneath the time machine. Suzuha seemed to be unhurt, but there was blood on Mayuri's face. Mayuri! I hadn't expected to see her here, and I was worried about her wound, but more than anything, I was glad to see that she was safe. She raised her face when she heard my voice. But the next moment, her eyes locked on the girl in the motorcycle suit. Oh god. She saw the thing crawling toward her and screamed.
Mommy? This isn't what it looks like. Kagari didn't want to kill anyone. I just wanted to protect you.
Kagari? She fucking turned into some sort of demon. She Kagari. It was only then that I realized that the girl in the motorcycle suit was the Kagari Shina that Suzuha had been looking for.
I'm sorry, Mommy.
Kagari, that's enough! Suzuha yelled, unable to take any more. Don't move anymore, you'll die!
Kagari didn't want to scare you. Really, I mean it. I just had to save you. So please don't hate me. I'm sorry, Mommy. Forgive me.
At last, her strength failed and she collapsed. I returned to my senses and ran to her before Suzuha could get there. Hey, are you okay? Her breathing was wheezy and shallow. One of the bullets had probably pierced her lungs. I thought taking off her helmet would help her breathe, so I put my hand on it to remove it, but she grabbed my hand and pushed it away.
No. Don't take it. I'm from Mommy and Big Sis Suzuha. Please, Okabe.
Why? Why not? Her voice, and the way she talked. I realized who this girl called Kagari Shina was. Please don't tell me I was right in my assumption. I looked close and saw I recognized her face. Please. No. You're... Why? What? What? Ocarine, is Kagari okay? Stay back! I quickly motioned to Suzuha to keep her distance. Leave her to me. You're taking Mayuri. Is she okay? Check for me. She looked upset, but did as I asked. She went back to Mayuri and started to look at her wounds. Mayuri was covering her face and trying not to look at the bodies.
It's okay. It's not deep.
I relaxed a little when I heard that. Why does she look like... What's going on?
I'm so glad you're safe, Mommy.
Kagari's voice was a whisper as I cradled her in my arms. And then she slowly closed her eyes. Her breathing got weaker. Hang in there! Why? Why are you...
It's okay. Don't worry. Even like this, I don't suffer or feel pain. I always hear the voice of God. He tells me that it doesn't hurt. I don't feel the pain. So I'm just... I'll tell you, Okabe. The real one doesn't know anything. She's been in Europe on an exchange program for 3 years. The professor manipulated things behind the scenes to send me to Akihabara.
Wait, what?
The real one doesn't know anything.
The professor. Does she mean
この世界線で
In this world line, Hashida and the real one will meet
来
next
年なん
year.
ですよ。橋田さんと
Hikari opened her eyes a little
本
but
物が
once
出
more
会うのは
and looked towards the time machine toward Mayuri and Suzuha. Wait, Yuki, why? It's
大丈夫
Yuki, right?
I'm sure the real one will love Hashida too.
橋田さんのこと
Why
好
is this Yuki?
きになります。
Why?
私と同じ
Just
ように
like I did.
Yuki, please!
I
言っ
said
ちゃっ
it.
た。
Don't tell anyone.
誰
Okay?
にも内緒
Yuki!
ですよ。
And this time, her smile still shining in her eyes. They closed for real. With one final shudder, the strength left her body. Her life faded away in my arms. There's so much I wanted to ask her. Why had she appeared before us using that name? There are so many things I didn't understand. But Kagari Shina's life ended in that moment.
ほかりおじさん
Uncle Ocarine, is Kagari okay?
I came back to my senses when I heard her voice. If I told her about Kagari's death, it would cause her a lot of mental stress. That wasn't a good idea. Right now, I needed to do something about the time machine as fast as possible. She's okay. I'll take her to the hospital. I slung Kagari's bloody body around my shoulder and stood up. Shut down the time machine and hide it. The cops will be coming. It's too late. You! Before I could open the door, a huge shout appeared from within. Professor! He wasn't dead. He must have taken a lot of damage to the head because his face was the color of clay, and one of his eyes wasn't focusing. This will be a war zone soon. America, Russia, and Japan have all started to move. Once the gears start turning, you can't stop them. If Kagari had only told us sooner, things wouldn't have gone this bad. Question knew about Kagari, which meant that I was right. Kazuha spoke before I could.
そうか
I see. So you're the professor.
お前が教授か係を洗脳
You're
し
the
た
one
の
who
は
brainwashed Kagari,
お
aren't
前
you?
だな
You!
そう
That true?
あなたは
Is that the kind of person you
そう
are?
いう人だったんですか
I myself haven't done anything.
Just didn't try to deny it.
10 years ago, I found a helpless girl on the streets and helped her so she could grow up like this.
Helped her! This never would have happened if she led a normal life!
こんな風になるはずな
Could you know you're like that? Maya just killing me. I'm telling the truth. She made contact with me. It was her plan to get plastic surgery and infiltrate the city. Evidently, the voice of God in her head tells her everything she needs to do. At first, I thought she was a homeless girl making up stories in hopes of getting food. But when I examined her brain and her memories, I found something very interesting and wonderful. This God she spoke of.
And even as his face twisted in pain, he smiled proudly.
This God she spoke of was me from the year 2036.
You piece of shit! You!
本当の
You're a real mad scientist!
マッドサイエンティストだ
Shit! Suddenly I heard a siren down below. Just hearing the sound made me feel uneasy. I'd never heard a sound like it before.
なんだ
What is this?
This is guerrilla attack information. Repeat, guerrilla attack information. A guerrilla attack may occur in this area. Please get indoors and obtain further information from radio or television broadcasts.
I heard that announcement coming from the speakers on the street. A guerrilla attack? Shit! I could hear several helicopters in the sky above me. Their engines were clearly more powerful than the ones in the media's news choppers. I recognized the sounds from the time I'd spent in the wartime world line.
I told you, didn't I? There's about to be a war over the time machine right here.
Third World War is about to begin.
I'm sure the people here have no idea a world war is about to begin in the middle of that city. And then Lesson leaned up against the wall, sat down, and stopped moving. Whether he passed out or gone into a coma from the brain damage, I didn't have time to find out. It was like the air in the city had gone heavier. That's how it felt. A chill ran down my spine. I spent a month at war in that world line. And the same future was about to begin here. Something like that couldn't happen in Japan. It was like a TV show or a movie. But I knew instinctively that this wasn't fiction. There had been signs since 6 months ago. Here in Akihabara, in Tokyo, in Japan, spies and soldiers from all around the world had been working in the shadows. So I'd known this would happen. By refusing Suzu's request and choosing the world line where Mayuri survived, I've doomed over 5 billion people. I was the one who chose this. It was me.
I'll go green.
I looked up and saw that Suzu was pushing Mayuri into the time machine.
We're going out to jump to the past.
What?
Take care of Kagari.
Suzu had no idea that Kagari was already dead. She leaped into the cockpit. What? What do you mean? What fucking hope is there? I raced over and grabbed onto the hatch, then looked inside. You came in a year ago. You're going back there. So suddenly.
It's not sudden, and we're not going back there.
She was tapping commands into the console as she spoke. What? What do you mean you're not going back there?
I'm borrowing Big Sis Maya for a little.
Mayuri was already strapped into a seat. Just like I was when I jumped a year ago with Suzuha. Mayuri, you...
Oh, green.
I heard fierce gunfire and screams in the distance. It looked like some of the spies had started fighting each other. Kagari may have just wiped out a force from one nation, but an army from an entirely different one was still coming.
Here.
Mayuri handed me a smartphone. I took it without thinking. What?
I can't get a signal, so I'll give this to you, okay? Read the message. It'll tell you how Mayushi feels.
Wait, why are you going? If you go, it won't change anything. You can't do anything. And if you go, you won't be able to come back.
No, it can't be you who does it, Ocarine. This is Mayushi's job.
I don't understand. I don't know what you're talking about. Please, get out of the time machine, Mayuri. If you leave the wheel of causality, then I won't even know why I chose this world line.
Ocarine.
Mayuri gently rubbed my cheek. And she smiled. Sadly. She softly pushed my shoulder. Mayuri! It threw me off balance and made me let go of the hatch. Then the hatch closed. Mayuri, wait! It was too late. By the time I crept back on, the hatch was sealed shut. The door control was biometric. Only Suzuha could open it now. The time machine started to roar. A pale light began to gather around it. I'd seen this before in the Alpha World line. Why? Mayuri! Just then, a group of armed men kicked open the door and swarmed onto the roof. They were highly trained military operatives. And then an attack helicopter descended from the skies. The soldiers started to shoot at it. The helicopter seemed to ignore them as it slowly hovered in place. I realized the powerful rocket launchers on either side of the body were aimed at me. No, at the time machine. Couldn't be. No. No! But my worst fears were realized.
The helicopter fired its rockets. They head straight for the time machine. It was still there, shrouded in light. The second I yelled, a powerful blast blew me back. The next thing I knew, I was crawling on the ground. I saw that some of the soldiers had already joined the mountain of corpses on the group, and some of them were still shooting at the helicopter. I stood up as fast as I could. My whole body felt like it was on fire. My skin was burned in places. My clothes had been blasted off. No, my own problems didn't matter. What about the time machine? I looked up toward where the time machine had been. If I had jumped in time, it should have been able to avoid the rockets. But... there were scraps of metal everywhere. I could tell they belonged to the time machine. Had I not made it in time? Suzuha? Mayuri? I looked around in the cloud of smoke.
No.
Mayuri, where are you? Mayuri! Suzuha, answer me! There were bodies everywhere. I couldn't see Mayuri or Suzuha. I couldn't even tell if they were alive or dead. There were no bodies. They'd simply vanished. After that, things went far beyond my power to control. Brutal battles took place on the ground and in the skies of Akihabara. I'd seen footage of war in the Middle East on the news. Those same scenes were playing out in Akihabara. I managed to slip through the chaos of the battle and barely escape the radio building with my life. I had no choice but to leave Kagari's body. I took the long way back to the lab so that no one would find me. By the time I arrived, the sun had set, and the night was illuminated with explosions and tracer rounds. The whole of Akihabara was like someone had poked a beehive. The lights were out at the lab. Inside I found Daru, Maho, and Ferris staring at the TV and computer monitor.
Agreed!
Okabe! I'm so glad you're safe. Wait, you're hurt. Are you okay?
Did you get caught up in the fighting?
First aid, quick!
I didn't have the energy to answer them. I looked toward the footage on the TV screen. A reporter was wearing a bulletproof vest and hard hat. He was screaming at the top of his lungs, trying to drown out the reporters from the other stations.
It's like a war zone! The area around Akihabara Station and the center streets have been cut off. US and SDF helicopters and tanks are... just now I heard another huge explosion! Is this really Japan? I feel like I'm reporting on a civil war! The government says it's terrorism, but I can't imagine... And a stray shot from an anti-material rifle fired by a special forces team from some county or another struck the news van engine and blew it up. It exploded! There's been an explosion!
Are you trying to get killed? Get out of here! This is war! You're going to die!
An STS soldier forced his way onto the screen and yelled at the media to run away.
The war? With who?
Oh, if I know!
Just after that, I heard another explosion and the video was cut off. Did they take a direct hit? Everyone fell silent.
It's dangerous here too. I can't go home.
The net's in an uproar. Hey, Okarin, where's Suzuha? And did you find Mayushi?
Suzuha and Mayuri are... Suzuha and Mayuri either went back to the past, or they're dead.
What?
Tor stormed up to me, infuriated.
What do you mean? Which is it?
An attack helicopter fired a rocket launcher at the time machine. It was destroyed. Sue and Mayuri were aboard. They were about to go back to the past. I saw some pieces of the time machine left, but it wasn't everything. And Daru, I looked and looked, but I couldn't find Sue and Mayuri's bodies anywhere. Not even a trace. It was like they vanished without a trace. Do you think they made it back to the past? The tears I tried so hard to hold back came pouring out. Dar fell to his knees. Ferris and Ma was staring at me, eyes wide in shock. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Dar slammed his fist into the floor. This can't be happening! It can't! I tried to wipe away my tears and realized I was holding something in my right hand. It was the cell phone that Mayuri had given me. She told me to read the message on it. It wasn't locked. I opened the mail folder. There were several unsent messages addressed to her friends and family. One of them was addressed to me. Was this what she wanted me to read? With shaking fingers, I tapped the screen to open the message.
Dear Ocarine, it's Mayushi. I knew I should probably tell you this face to face, but I wasn't sure if I could say it right. And I wasn't sure what I'd do if you tried to stop me, so I decided to send a message instead. I'm going back to the past, Suzu. You're probably mad, and you want to know why, right? But it's something that I have to do. You see, I was the one who hid my Hikoboshi. My strong Hikoboshi, who always got back up and laughed no matter how bad things were. I was the one who hid him beyond the dark clouds. I was wrong. No one was trying to make you save the future all by yourself. You've got Daru and Suzu, and Luca and Ferris and Yuki and now Maho. So this time, it's my turn. This is my first big mission as lab member number 2. I'm sure you're worried, but it'll be fine. And even if something happens, I know you'll come save me. The Kyoma Huey I love will come riding in on a new time machine he made and save the day. I know it. So I'm going. I promise I'll come back. I'll come back to you. So just wait for me a little, okay? I love you, Kyoma Huey. But you know, I love Rintaro Okabe even more.
Mayuri! You forgot, didn't you? You're my hostage! You can't be my hostage if you go away! You want me to come save you if something happens? What kind of hostage are you? The mad scientist of madness would never go to save you. To save you. You're an idiot. I'm a bigger idiot. My heart was in pain. It hurt so much. It was just like after I'd killed Kurisu. Maybe I'd be better off if I just fell over and died. I would do anything to be released from this pain. And in the corner of my tear blurred vision, I saw it. Kyoma Huin's final weapon. His last hope. No. It was the thing that brought me so many nightmares. I staggered to the development room and threw off the cardboard that was covering it. There it was. The phone wave name subject change Unit 02. The thing that Maho and Daru have been working on behind my back. If I could complete this... I turned around. Wiped my tears and saw my friends looking depressed in the middle of the darkened room.
お前たち
You said you didn't know how to make a time leap machine, right?
タイムリープマシンの作る
Will you do what I tell you?
クリスの導き
I'll
出した
give you the answer that Kurisu discovered.
お前たちに伝えるそれで
And then we'll activate the time machine.
タイムリープマシンは起動する
Miles said the one thing she didn't know was how to compress the memory data. Which means that everything else was finished. And I knew how to complete it. Taro was the first to nod.
僕
I'm
や
in.
るよ
To us, Ocarina.
教えてく
私も手伝うわ
I'll help too.
決まりだね
It's telling ya.
All three responded with no hesitation. They turned toward me and spoke their answers clearly. All right.
よしダル
Daru, I want you to hack CERN. We'll need to remote control the LHC. We'll use that to compress the memory data down to 36 bytes. That's small enough to send back to the past.
Just 36 bytes.
36
I
倍
could tell she was a scientist by the way her face went pale at the number.
けどさ
But sometimes this thing doesn't work right. Sometimes it's just a normal microwave.
ブラウン管工房
It's the
の
42-inch CRT in the Bronze workshop.
それが
The
点灯して
phone
いる
wave name
時
subs change only works when it's turned on.
機能を発揮する
ブラウン管
CRT TV. Oh, so that's it.
Just the words CRT were enough for her to figure it out. Life was coming back to their eyes.
それなら
And we may be able to
完
finish
成
it
させ
after
られ
all.
るかもでも
But even if we
完
can
成
finish
した
it,
として
are you going to start
いきな
using
り
it
使う
now?
つもり何の実証もせ
We
ず
can't run human trials without doing anything else
人体実験
first.
するなんて
自分の作ったもの
You're
に
not confident in what you
自
built?
信が持てないのか
But
別の世界線
Kurisu did it already in another
クリスはや
world
ってみ
line.
せたぞ
それは
that's because she's Kurisu. I can't be her.
アットチャンネル
You saw Kurisu's message on that
クリス
channel,
のメッ
right?
セージを見ただろ
What?
Lastly, I'd like you to pass a message to the person I respect the most. I always regard myself as an essentially ordinary intellect. And you were always the person I wanted to be. You were the real Amadeus. It was you, Maho.
クリスにあそこ
You
まで
got
言わせ
Kurisu
たん
to
だ
say that, and now you're going to run
逃
away?
げる キカ
逃げたりなん
I'm
か
not running away. Don't underestimate me.
You
見くび
nodded
らな
back
いで
to smooth back my hair, which had been a must by the explosion.
今日も
Kyoma, here.
Bears brought me my white lab coat, which had been hanging for ages on the wall of the development room. Only one man can save it. I bit down my lip and wiped away the tears one more time. I took the lab coat and slipped my arms through the sleeves. Spun around so that the hem of the coat flew up. Stood triumphantly in the center of the lab, just as I used to. Then I declared in a loud voice,
これより
We will now complete the phone wave name something to change Unit 02 and perform a time
俺
leap.
に力を貸してくれ
Lend me your aid.
今度こそ
This time,
俺は
I'm
絶
never
対に
giving
諦
up.
めない
I looked at Daru and Ferris and finally at Maho.
たとえ
Even if I fail the first dozen times, or the first 100 times, I'll try again. 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, or 1,000,000,000 times. I'll save them all. Suzuha, Mayuri,
そして
Kurisu
クリス
too.
もだこれは
This is the
その
first
最
step.
初の一歩となる
For the first time in a year, I was back to my old self. My friend saw me and nodded, their faces filled with resolve. It took almost 2 full days to finish work on the phone wave. Meanwhile, the chaos in Akihabara continued, and it wasn't safe to go outside. Working on the time leap machine while knowing that the battles might reach us at any minute, or that a special forces team might burst in at any time was a hard job that wore on our nerves. But still, we managed to finish the machine somehow. I jumped. Back we go. Come on.
next thing I knew, I was standing in the middle of the Akihabara alleyway. I was holding a cell phone in my hand. I had a nasty headache, and there was a stinging pain in my neck. I felt a pain on one side of my head like a migraine headache, and the left side of my face hurt really bad. My vision flashed with its dark and bright spots. I took a look around. The alley was still peaceful. I heard no gunshots, no explosions. The otaku were enjoying their shopping. Girls in maid outfits were calling out to passerby. That alone was enough to tell me for sure that the time leap was a success. I looked at the time on my smartphone. July 7th, 5:45 p.m. I had around 40 to 50 minutes before the war began. That still wasn't enough. But the 48-hour limit of the time leap machine meant this was as far as I could go. No point in getting negative. If the machine had been finished just a little later, it would have been too late. I should be glad to have made it here at all. I knew what I'd been doing at this time. I was running around Akihabara looking for Mayuri. First, I needed to call Maho. Maho.
Hello, did you find her?
No, but I know where she is. Hurry back to the lab. I hung up before she could answer and went back to the lab myself. She was already there by the time I arrived.
You found Mayuri, right? Don't you have to go get her?
Dara was acting a little bit awkward, probably because he just hit me. Hyajo, you did it!
Huh?
I grabbed both of her hands and shook them. Both Maho and Dara seemed confused as to what was going on. I've time leaped for here from 48 hours in the future.
What?
Seriously?
We finished it. Sometime in the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
How?
I'll explain later. There's no time, so listen carefully. A lot of lives are at stake. I've gone over the mission many times while waiting for work on the phone way to finish. I thought of everything to say. Hyajo, access Amadius right now and delete Kurisu and Maho, as well as all their backups. Leskin's not planning on using them for peaceful purposes at all.
Wait, what? I can't just...
I told you I time leaked here, right? Akihabara is going to be a war zone in less than an hour from now. They're coming for the time machine. And that will be the beginning of the Third World War. If we don't stop it, Sue and Mayuri will both die. Maho and Dara went pale when they heard that. Really? Wait, really? So do as I tell you, please.
I can access to that, but to do anything, I'll need the professor's access rights.
That's Dara's job. Crack in and destroy all the data. Okie dokie, leave it to me. Dar started typing at an incredible speed. Dar's life was on the line. Miles stood next to him and typed in her ID and password to begin accessing Amadius. I'm going to the radio building. You guys stay here. Ocarine, take care of Suzuha! Right, leave it to me. Dar didn't even look up from his computer. Come on! Suzuha, Mayuri! When I made it to the top of the radio building, Mayuri quickly ducked behind the time machine.
Ocarine.
Mayuri was trying not to look at me. Her eyes were a little red because she'd been crying so much. She'd heard me talking about Kurisu's sacrifice in the Alpha World line. My heart ached again, realizing how much I'd hurt her. Mayuri, are you going to use the time machine to go back to the past?
How?
I've time leaped from 40 hours in the future. I know all about it.
What? Is that true?
I nodded. This place is going to be a war zone in less than 30 minutes.
What? Did someone find out the time machine somehow?
Yeah.
Bad. Then we'll have to jump right now.
Suzuha leapt into the time machine. No, wait just a second. Dara and Hyajo are dealing with it. They're smart people. It'll go fine. But if it doesn't...
If it doesn't?
You may die.
What do you mean, May? What happened to us before you time leaped? Wait, there was some fatal failure before you time leaped, right?
I didn't know if I should tell them. No, there was no time to hesitate. You were inside the time machine just before it jumped. It was hit by a rocket launcher. But I couldn't find your bodies in the rubble.
I see. That's why you said maybe.
How am I supposed to fucking tell?
Then the future hasn't been decided. There's still a possibility of success.
I thought you'd say that.
Don't try and stop me, Uncle.
Do it then, now! Her eyes were filled with resolve. They seemed to say that if I tried to stop her, she'd do whatever it took to ensure I failed. Of course, I had no intention of stopping her. She'd come here to do her job, and there was no way to change her mind. Actually, I'd come here to ensure that she could jump without having to worry about Stratford's interference. Do it now! But Mayuri... The uncertainty that had been going in and out of my mind ever since I'd read her message reared its head again. Mayuri, are you really leaving? I'm sorry I didn't tell you. But I, and Kurisu, and everyone else, we love you. I came to this world line because I wanted to save you. So if you leave, we...
Ocarine.
No. I know exactly how you feel, but...
Hey, Uncle Ocarine.
And then Suzuha spoke softly.
Operation Aquila has begun.
Operation Aquila?
It's not the original plan I was told about. We're not going back to July 28th. We're going to August 21st.
August 21st? That was the day Suzuha had come in the time machine. And the day I'd given up on everything.
We need Big Sis Mayu for that plan to work. That's what my dad told me from the future just now.
What? In the future, Dara would come up with an operation I knew nothing about? And he needed Mayuri for it. Her unexpected words sent my mind reeling.
Ocarine.
And then Mayuri came close enough for me to hold her, and grabbed my hand tight. She looked a little like she was about to cry. But her eyes were clear and bright. Mayuri.
Let me go. Okay? Mayushi's a lab member too, you know? Mayushi's going to take her glum Hikoboshi and slap him across the face, okay? Please.
I remember what was in that message. I remembered how she must have felt right now. The last remnants of my hesitation slowly melted away. I thought I was carrying all the burn myself. But I was wrong, wasn't I? I couldn't see what was right in front of me. It wasn't just you, Mayuri. I had all the rest of the lab with me, too.
Ocarine.
No! Go, please! I suddenly felt a horrible pain in my leg, as the shock knocked me several meters forward and onto the ground. Go! I looked down my leg and saw that there was a red stain around the calf. Felt like it was on fire. The pain flared up each time my heart beat, and I couldn't stand. Was I just shot?
You're Kagari.
A girl in a motorcycle suit was standing there. Kagari had a handgun in her right hand, and in her left, she was holding what looked like a bomb. There was no sign of the professor or the other men in camo. That much was fortunate, but Kagari had shown up a little earlier than I expected. I hadn't quite planned for this, but evidently I'd run out of time. Get in the time machine! Go now!
What?
I'm sorry for being stupid. Daru's capable of doing whatever it takes to protect you. He's never going to fail you. I know that.
Uncle Ocarine.
So the machine will be just fine, right?
Of course.
In fact, there was no sign of anyone but Kagari showing up. That meant that Daru and Ma's efforts had been successful, and they kept the secrets of the time machine out of Stratford's hands. Mayuri, you too! Hurry!
What about you, Ocarine?
She was looking at my injured leg and then panicking. There's no need to worry about me. I'm not going to die for another 14 years.
Kari fired again. The bullet struck less than 30 centimeters away from where I was lying on the ground.
Nobody move, or I'll kill him. Don't get in the time machine. I'm going to give it to the professor. And then I'm going to have him tell me how to use it and go back to the future.
Get in there! Forget about me! About her! I'll handle this, just go! You too, Suzuha. You can leave Kagari to me.
Got it.
Just go, now!
Access Mayu, inside. What? Hey, wait!
Suzuha pushed Mayuri inside the time machine and out of my sight.
Uncle Green, take care of Gagari.
I will. Roger! Suzuha followed Mayuri inside. And at the same time, the hatch started to close.
I told you not to do that. Come out.
Kari ran up to it. Not a chance! I forced myself to stand up, ignoring the piercing pain, and blocked her. I won't let you interfere!
Shut up. Move.
I refuse!
Move.
Ugh. Kari kicked my injured leg and hard. The pain made me so dizzy I could hardly stand. Kari slipped past me and tried to grab onto the time machine. She was going to use the bomb in her hand. If she did, things would turn out the same as last time. The time leap would be wasted.
Get out, or I'll use a bomb to blow up the machine.
Stop! Grabbed her from behind and wrapped my arms around hers, under hers. I pulled her away from the time machine, ignoring the pain in my leg. Don't you understand? If you do that, your mom's going to die.
But I...
Just calm down, please! Mayuri tossed the hard drive to me from the almost completely closed hatch.
Here!
What fell on the floor was the thing Kurisu had left behind for Maho. This is Kurisu's! How did it get here? I thought Russia destroyed it.
Don't get mad, Dad. I think he's going to need it for their time machine research.
I could just barely hear Suzuha's voice from within the machine. So that was it. Gara hid it in the time machine.
Bye, Out Green. I'll come back, okay?
I could see Mayuri looking at me from the small gap in the door. That's right. This was a temporary goodbye. I'd see her again someday. Right, Mayuri? So I would send off my brave Lab Mem number 2, with my head held high. I'm counting on you, Lab Member number 2. Mayuri Shina. Execute Operation Aquila. Slap me in the face for being so pathetic.
Leave it to me. Out Green, I love you.
Yeah. Go. Now. I smiled as the hatch sealed completely shut. Time machine started to roar. I felt like I heard a helicopter in the distance. I believed in him, but for now I had no proof that Dara had been able to crack the complicated Maya system and delete every bit of data. It's possible that special forces teams from all around the world were converging on Akihabara right now. Imagining that made me want to hurry. Quickly. Go, quickly! I felt like praying as I watched the pale light surrounding the time machine.
Don't go! Mommy! Fix this, Suzuha!
Gar's cry went unanswered. It's gone! We did it! The bright light covered the time machine, and it vanished from this world. It worked! It worked. Kagari sobbed and glared at me with eyes full of hate. Why?
Why did you let Mommy go?
She shook away my hands and pointed the gun at my head. I stared at her dead in the face. Your wonderful mommy's gone with Suzuha to go scold a stupid man who ruined the world. She's going to do something very important for the sake of the whole world.
You're lying. You're lying. Mommy and Mitsuha both left me behind.
I'm not lying. I'm about to go make it so you can meet Mommy in a much happier place. So let's stop this. Okay?
No. I can't believe that.
No.
I know you'll believe me, because I know who you really are, and how kind you really are. The gun barrel started to shake a little.
私を
You know me.
I do. I've time looped from 48 hours in the future. Gary put her hands to her head as her body spasmed with pain.
I hear the voices of God. It tells me not to believe you. You're a liar, an enemy. It says if I kill you, I can go back to mommy. It says to kill a bad man who's trying to destroy the world. And then I can go back to my old world.
Gary wasn't making any sense. Was this brainwashing? Had the professor done something so cruel?
I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I grabbed the flailing hand and held the gun and looked deep into her eyes. She was crying and scared. Listen, Mommy's not coming back. But if we do our best, we may be able to make a world where you and Mommy can be happy. That's why she traveled through time. You mustn't waste the chance she gave you. You can still start over.
It's okay to disobey the voice of God.
Yeah. The voice of God she was referring was probably the professor's brainwashing. How far had its claws sunk into her mind? I had no way to tell. But now we had Maho, a specialist in brain science. If we work hard at treatment, I'm sure she'll be okay.
Hey, Okabe.
Okabe-san.
Her voice was normal again.
ママに
I want to see mommy.
会えるか
Can I?
You can. Someday.
なよかった
I'm glad.
No! No! There was another sudden gunshot. Kagari's body collapsed right in front of me. You! I looked over at where it came from and saw another girl in a black motorcycle suit. She wasn't wearing a helmet, so I could tell it was Moeka Kiryu pointing a gun at us. Her face was deathly pale, and she was crying. Why? Why are you here? Why Moeka Kiryu?
FB. Hey, FB. I didn't let that woman trick me. I knew this was a fake phone, so please, don't abandon me, FB. FB. The cell phone fell from her hands.
Another shot from her gun blew it into fragments. I held Kagari in my arms. Her chest was turning red. Hey, hang in there!
I'm glad.
神様の言
Even
う
the
通りに
voice of
して
God
も
wasn't right all the time.
間違うこと事故
This is my
自
punishment.
得彼女の
I
心を
destroyed her
踏
heart
みにじっ
and
て
tried to manipulate her.
ごめんなさい
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to grow up like this.
ね
Mommy, where are you? Where are you?
どこ
Her voice grew thinner. Moeka Kiryu collapsed some distance away. Her eyes were unfocused, and all she did was mumble. She didn't seem capable of coherent thought. Both of them would be in danger if I didn't get them to a hospital. But... it's too late for you. Dozens of men in camo jumped over the fence on the roof out of nowhere. What? Even Daramaru couldn't succeed in this short a time span. Or was this world line going to converge so that war started here no matter what? No, but... it wasn't a waste. If nothing else, they'd brought me time. And that had delayed the attack long enough for Suzuha and Mayuri to leave. That's right. In this instance, we already had won. The way forward was still uncertain. But there was no doubt that the path to Steins Gate lay before me. Target 1, lost! Target 2 and Target 3 lost as well! What's going on? Lear was talking on his radio. I win.
I won, you bastards. I could see attack helicopters in the sky. I heard that siren again.
This is guerrilla attack information. Repeat, guerrilla attack information. A guerrilla attack may occur in this area. Please get indoors and obtain further information from radio or television broadcasts.
The war was starting. Just as I had thought. Even the time leap couldn't change that.
Is that you, Lintalo?
Suck it. Leskin appeared from behind the men in camo. That's right. He was a member of Stratfor just like them.
What are you doing here? Is Kagari dead? Tell me, Lintalo. Where's the time machine?
I lay Kagari down on the ground and slowly rose back up. Blood wouldn't stop coming out of the wound on my leg. The pain was getting worse. But even still, I stood up proud and strong. In front of the men with their guns. In front of the attack helicopter with its rocket launchers. In front of the professor. In front of the war that was about to begin. I laughed as loud as I could in that voice. I win! Listen well, fools! The time machine you sought to attain is gone! It no longer exists in this time! Too bad! Now, curse your own incompetence! And tremble in fear! For I, the great Kyoma Huin, will never lose to you! And I will never lose to fate! I will find the path to Steins Gate! That's right. This was the beginning of the long epigraph necessary to reach Steins Gate. Madness is doing the same thing over and over, and expecting a different result. I had once said that, when he despaired of human folly. But now I would gladly give myself over to that madness and folly. I would use every bit of dedication and obsession within me to seek the lone different outcome, which the laws of God could not reach. That is my choice! The choice of Steins Gate. Holy shit! I'm gonna quickly mute the... Well then, that is another ending complete. Now, there is something I want to mention. So obviously I have the guide up. One thing I actually ended up kind of looking for that I thought was interesting... Actually, you know what? No, I was wrong. I was wrong on what I was thinking, but... That should have been the Mayuri ending. I gotta say, even if that wasn't technically the true ending, or the good, or even like the best ending or whatever, that was insanely satisfying, knowing that we screwed over freaking Leskinen and all the armies, knowing that we did our job correctly, knowing they had no chance, laughing all the while like the mad scientists we are. Oh, it felt so satisfying. My God, I cannot believe how satisfying that felt. Obviously, we're going to let the credits play out here. Now, I could continue on for today, but I normally end up 4 hours, and I'd only have an hour extra to go. And we did just get an ending. So you know what? We'll go ahead and, after the credits are over, and in case there's any extra credit scenes, we'll probably end after we check out what the ending looks like in the extra menu. Still though, that ending was insanely satisfying, but we're not even halfway done. Now we've got an interesting point with getting the other endings, because we have to go back quite a bit more to do something that will change the other endings, which thankfully, past me had the foresight to make a save in just the best location to go onto the different ending path. So thankfully, when we start up next time, we won't have to worry about rewatching everything, I don't think. Or at the very least, we won't have to rewatch At least we'll know where to begin or whatever. Man. What a satisfying ending, though. Even if it's not the true ending, just having that victory and seeing Hyuin Kyomo once more was intensely satisfying. I can't even lie. Like, come on. The mad scientist wins in the end. Vega and Altair complete. New wallpaper. Let's take a look at what it looks like in the extra menu then. Clear list. Vega and Altair, the Mayuri ending. I guess technically speaking, I could technically call the bad ending the Leskinen ending, because it's technically one where he technically wins, right? Technically. I'll call it the Leskinen ending. It has a better... It fits in with the other endings, and it's still technically bad because Leskinen's bad and sucks. And I hate him. Anyways, I think that's going to be where we end it here for today. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you all later. Peace.